So, Kav, what are we watching today?
I don't know. You recommended it.
Oh, it's a I guess I'll just use the language. It's a BT-PT video. So before transition PT, which, how are we going to refer to Philosophy Tube in this video? Are we going to say he or she? Let's just get that out of the way.
She. I vote she.
And here's my justification for it. It's a public video that this isn't the person in this video. This is a character that Philosophy Tube plays. It's called Philosophy Tube.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, they put their individual soul into it and all that kind of stuff, but I see this as more of a character, so that's why I'm more comfortable saying he, just to justify it a bit.
It would be weird to refer to this person as a she.
Especially at this point in their life. But,
yeah.
I was not
released. So,
Danimal, why this video? What is important or special about this?
So, this is a very popular video. It was rated the #1 video essay of 2019 by Sight and Sound magazine. And we're going to see if it earned that honor, I guess. It's a very bad video. It's about queer theory and history. Go ahead, Kav.
I'm just saying they didn't nominate any of my video essays.
Well,
you mean the ones that didn't exist prior to last year?
Hey,
they could have sent. I mean, obviously the award exists, you know.
Can't believe I'm not drowning in awards yet.
Well,
I can't believe I haven't.
My genius is unappreciated.
I mean, if the Zoophile episode didn't get nominated.
An episode yet.
Oh, yeah.
I can't believe I actually haven't finished an essay yet.
Hey.
Yeah, what's going on?
All right, Tennyson.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm a little sweaty today because I was just doing garden work.
Yeah, quote unquote garden work.
Do you have pictures?
Why would I? No.
To prove it?
No.
With your shirt off? Okay, he's not answering anymore. Gabbles. Well, how queer are you?
Yes, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what queer means anymore.
Well, it's good we're watching this video. We're going to learn.
I don't think we're going to learn much.
Yeah, that is one thing you don't do with Philosophy Tube videos. You never learn.
You think Sight and Sound magazine would steer us wrong, Gabbles?
Yeah.
This was #1.
#1. All right, Gemini?
Maybe in one sense.
Hello, I'm a Gemini resident Richard Enjoyer. I don't know about all this queer shit, man. It seems kind of sus to me.
Can I just say that, like, your demeanor and your tone and the way that you said that makes it sound like that you're wearing a leather jacket and sunglasses and smoking in a dumpster behind a school.
How did you know what he was doing right now?
Like, you're just like, yeah, man, I don't give a shit about any of this. Pop scholar.
I channeled my inner Razor Fist for this.
All right, Danimal?
What, me? I don't know. I've already been talking. Everybody knows me.
Everybody knows Danimal. Everybody knows me, Kava.
It's Danimal, everyone's favorite friend.
And I'm the only one who's not even a little bit queer here.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we could have had Ray on, but we don't have enough room.
Well,
he's not queer at all.
He's super straight. That's part of the queer umbrella.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It's somewhere in the rainbow.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the black line, yeah.
That's right. Yeah, the straight flag is black and white. Although Gabbles, the black and white flag, is that for the... Oh, fuck. I forgot that Lego Island reference. Never mind. Cut this part.
The Brickster.
The Brickster. Yeah, that's right.
All right, and then lastly, we have Amazil.
Hello, it is I, Lieutenant Amazil. I have come in lieu of another special guest I tried to get in. Maybe next time.
Maybe next time we'll do something on furries.
You better do it next time.
Not enough. For a show about, well, sexuality and, you know, all the different queernesses, I'm surprised we haven't done more furry videos.
It's tough because it's not a realm that I explore. You know? So maybe I'll work some more furry videos into my diet, I guess.
I
Why
don't
could you
know. I'll
always
give you
not?
some recommendations or
We'll
something.
do a
Oh, God.
brony video.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
yes, that'd be great.
Man, it's been years since I heard the term brony. Is that
Do
still a thing?
Yes, they had a convention this year.
I know I
This
used
year.
This
Like
year.
Bronies are still
2022.
fucking
Really?
trucking. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
they
what
met.
that's been what 12 years since the whole thing began.
they're clamping
That's-
across the USA.
That's basically from the Cretaceous period to now, but in internet terms.
The BronyCon officially ended, but they started up a
bronies will
new
come for me.
convention of some
Mm.
type. So that happened.
And I will say, I use a lot of furries in my memes, but that's because I find it hilarious. Just want to put that out there.
Just keep telling yourself that, buddy.
I
Yeah,
got
yeah,
a
yeah.
furry. Do we want to pop Ray in? Okay. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and start it. Get the show on the road.
When I was a postgrad, there was a certain topic that didn't come up a lot in class, but it definitely came up at parties.
Okay, are we going to comment on that
Let
opening?
me just go
You
back
know,
to the
dramatic
opening.
minutes?
Let's go back to the opening shot here, just to see
Just, I know it's going off the rails early, but just, oh
When
my
I was-
God, the
Ooh.
pomp, the
Imagine you open the
pompousness.
curtains. You come home late at night. You open the curtains. This shows up.
Postgrad.
God.
I've
This man
broken
is
my
like
gun.
a leather. Is that a leather shirt? A shirt
Yeah.
made of like leather?
Yeah, it's like a shiny material.
What?
I think it might be
Who-
silk.
Maybe it's silk. Hopefully it's silk. Because a leather shirt is both not stylish and just uncomfortable.
Well,
Can I just
wearing
say, a
leather
man of
would
the
be-
people, obviously?
Also, he with the goatee and the black clothing, he looks like a modern day Mephistopheles, like a production of Faust, like a guy who is going to sell your soul for some ultimately unattainable prize.
Well, he ends up doing that.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, actually, he just described his whole
His
thing.
entire career. And I remember, like,
Or her, I
for
guess.
those of you, so at some point I went back and looked at like really old Philosophy Tube videos from like 2014, and they were basically they were kind of cool. They were like crash course style videos or Vsauce style videos, but talking specifically about a philosopher or a concept. And he would like respond to comments, and that would start conversation. And it was actually really interesting. And at some point, he just made the transition, pun entirely intended, to these sort of weird theatrical or pseudo theatrical presentations, and it's weird. Like you could still do like the crash course style videos because people actually use those because they're a great way to actually introduce people to a topic. Like I've seen them
Yeah.
used in classrooms before.
For
For all their
sure.
shortcomings, they're good for condensing essential information into a easily recognizable and digestible format so that people can get more interested in a topic like philosophy, which is extraordinarily dense, and get them hooked on a conversation. Like maybe you see a video about aesthetics or epistemology or a certain system of ethics or philosophy of science. If you have like a video like that that's pithy, concise, maybe 7 to 10 minutes long, that's a great way to introduce somebody to philosophy. I don't see what the fuck this is supposed to be as an introduction to philosophy. 36 minutes, and he wears a lot of costumes and talks a lot of sophistry. Like, that's not a good introduction to philosophy. That's just... I'm not even sure what it's supposed to be. Like, really bad dinner theater. Like the McDonald's of dinner theater.
Well, we know
So you're saying,
in part why this shift happened. And if you aren't up on the lore, Oliver dated ContraPoints at some point.
is that proven?
I think it's more or less proven.
Oh, come on.
But we do know for sure that this is ContraPoint style. This is definitely
Yeah.
borrowing
Look.
that style, and increasingly over the years became more and more Contra-like.
I'm not dumping on. Clearly, there's talent on the screen. I think. Would you guys agree?
Yeah.
Technical talent, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
As far as lighting and costumes go, yeah.
Yeah.
It's good theater.
knows how to put on a
I've-
production.
I'm not dumping it. I couldn't do this. I'm not dumping on this. It's the content of the video that's.
Yeah, like it's all. I've said this before about ContraPoints and other BreadTube like video essayists. It's all style, like shallow aesthetic appeal, and no substance. There's nothing really there at the bottom.
Yeah,
And
it's all.
that's the issue.
It's incredible talent, but it's wasted on just nothing. Just saying a lot of nothing. It's a shame. The wasted mind of a talented person.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What a tragedy.
Certain topic that didn't come up a lot in class, but it definitely came up at parties. Or at least that's what the people who went to parties told me. It was so controversial that we weren't even sure if we were allowed to say the name. Queer theory. My university wasn't the most progressive place in the world, so there weren't that many classes on it available anyway.
Well, I mean, there's not a lot of classes available on it because a lot of universities are focused on like getting you a job.
Yep.
Like, I'm sorry, queer theory is probably not going to be one of those things that a university typically is going to kind of push you towards. I mean, maybe nowadays it's different. I mean, I hear all kinds of things about universities, but back in my day,
it's not going to be highly sought after, I don't think.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's probably why there's not a lot of classes on it, buddy. Not because people are like, ooh, the gays at a fucking university, but I guess.
But I did ones that were on offer because I thought I knew what queer meant. I thought it meant that it wasn't for me. Growing up in the north of England, we had an old song called The Legend of the Lambton Worm.
Oh, this is continuing our tradition of people that really, really, really want to be queer but didn't see themselves as queer before they enjoyed the aesthetic.
If only Philosophy Tube could discover some queerness inside himself. Oh.
Yeah, I know. It's longing.
No way.
Oh, well. Well, who knows what the future holds?
Oh, geez, what a mystery.
It's about a young guy called John Lambton who goes fishing in the River Wear, and he catches an eel upon his hook that he thinks looks very queer. And what sort of eel it was, young Lambton couldn't tell, and he couldn't be asked to carry it home, so he hoys it down a well. And years later he comes back, and he finds that the eel has grown into an enormous dragon that's threatening the town. And the moral of the story is, the things that you throw away today can come back to bite you. Whoosh!
So, this little morality tale that he just told. See, here's the thing about morality tales. They're kind of very ambiguous and can be applied to many things. So it's very easy for somebody to say like, hey, we're throwing away the idea of gender norms or gender roles and things like that. And what you throw away may come back to bite you. Like people who are against the whole kind of queer gender revolution thing could use that same analogy to say the exact same thing that he just did.
Indeed.
Yep. That's the point of fablio and moral tales. They're meant to be very, very broad and very applicable to pretty much any situation.
Yeah, so when you're styling your video on trying to sell this kind of deconstructionist ideology to somebody, you probably don't want to start by giving them every single counter argument that they could use to just completely dismantle your ideology. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yep.
you'd probably want a moral tale that pushes the dangers and shortcomings of tradition or something like that.
So that's why I'm saying that I don't think Philosophy Tube is very smart.
What makes you say
that? But anyway.
Shh, lads, hide your gobs, and I'll tell yous all an awful story. Whoosh, lads, hide your gobs, and I'll tell yous boot. The Whale.
Okay, this is like opening credits and theme song. He wants to suffer through this.
No, it's pretty bad.
Ugh, this looks bad, yeah.
Oh,
And
boy.
also, how is his accent that bad?
Oh, he was playing it up to be like a Scottish story tale.
Yeah, like a
Storyteller
Northern
thing.
English.
Oliver Thorn.
Yeah, Oliver Thorn.
Thorn on my side, more or less.
Let's see. How long do you think this is? 30 seconds? Okay, how narcissistic is Philosophy Tube? How long do you think the opening of just them preparing is? 30 seconds or a full minute?
Oh, I give him at least a minute.
A minute? Okay. All right.
I don't
we
want
will
to think
skip
of him
ahead
as
to
being
2:34. Cop says a minute.
Narcissistic. 30 seconds.
30 seconds? Should I split the diff? I'll split the diff. I'll go 2:15.
20.
20 seconds. Wow, Gab, think highly. It's in the video now.
Hello, I am.
Oh, it was 30 seconds. See, I thought very slow. I thought very lowly. content warning.
Oh, if she's using, if they're using slurs, then we can.
No, unfortunately,
We're just getting all of them out of the way immediately. I'll just start.
I don't think there's any slurs in this. There might be. I don't know.
Are you ready for queer-phobic violence, boys and girls? Because I am.
Oh
Sure.
yeah,
Wait,
I'm always ready.
Wait, here's a quick question. By this, do they actually mean one forbidden fruit, or one? As
Oh no,
in
it's chapters.
bullet point?
Please.
Okay,
This is
then
the video
use a
essay,
number.
Amazon. The number
Use a
one video
fucking-
essay. It uses
Yeah.
chapters, son.
Yeah.
It knows what it's doing.
But you're supposed to use numbers. That's why. That's one of the reasons why you have numbers and then the word for it.
How dare you criticize
Look.
this?
He's an artist.
They got an award for this. Is this before Reykjavik or some shit?
On the 24th of April, 1993, 20,000 lesbians marched through the streets of Washington, D.C. and ate fire in front of the White House.
20,000. That's a false flag if I ever heard it.
Well, okay.
20,000
There's no way there's
lesbians.
20,000 lesbians.
No, here's the thing. You know why there was 20,000 lesbians in Washington, D.C. in 1993?
Was it because there were also gays mixed in?
Yes, because it was one of the largest ever single marches and protests in American history. There was almost 1 million people there.
Oh my god! I
And it
actually
was a
got
massive
right.
event. Many different organizations, many different people. And it just so happened that these people were also there. So the way that Philosophy Tube, he's like framing this, he's like framing it like they planned this march and whatever. And I think he even says they marched without permits. And just like, I'm pretty sure the larger protests they were part of had permits. I mean, fucking Madonna spoke there. The Indigo Girls played.
Maybe the
politicians were speaking
permits, but you know the actual gays didn't.
Yeah, it was like a massive speaking engagement. Like there's many famous speeches from it. You know, like
Yeah.
fuck off, Philosophy Tube. He's like making it seem like this was the only thing that had happened.
Also, I just want to say they in front of the White House they ate fire and shat gold.
Well, the Lesbian Avengers, the reason that they're eating fire is symbolic of a hate crime that took place in Oregon, where a lesbian and a bisexual man had their apartment burned and they were killed by like actual skinheads. Like this, like actually happened.
Oof.
Like it's not like a hoax.
Yeah.
Well, that's not very poggers.
Yeah, so they kind of use that symbology. But you know what? I'll have more to say on the Lesbian Avengers as we go because they're kind of inconsequential and not as important as Philosophy Tube is making them seem. And kind of counter to what worked for the gay rights movement. But we'll see.
That's entirely unsurprising.
They had no permit, it was absolutely illegal, but the police had no ability to stop them.
Once again, there's 1 million people there for a huge march that was put together by many hundreds of different organizations. Just saying.
Did they not have a permit, or
here's another thing. Okay. Lesbian Avengers, they're kind of like a wacky militant group that like worked up of or got a lot of inspiration from ACT UP, which was another like militant group in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So they a lot of the stuff that you read about them online, because nobody took an interest in them aside from like a few sensational things that they did. So a lot of their history is written by themselves. So in their history, they make it seem like we marched without permits on Washington, D.C. And just like, you didn't really though, did you?
You kind of just blended into the crowd.
Yeah, you just kind of blended into the crowd there. Just saying. You kind of pumping yourself up there a bit. Calm down.
Moving fastly and in a hurry, so get out our way.
On the exact same day, 3,535 miles away, I was born. The 80s and 90s were a big time for LGBT
How can I make this about
activism.
me?
And
I know exactly.
Okay,
And
can I first just say, what the fuck is he wearing?
Oh, we already
We
covered
were
that.
discussing this. We think it's silk.
It's so.
I hope it's
Very
silk.
shiny. Though
Yeah, I
wearing
thought it
leather,
was-
wearing leather is something that Philosophy Tube does a lot of.
Yeah. All right. Just saying the setup looks very nice.
Yeah.
Definitely
that
definitely
chair.
giving him definitely giving himself more gravitas than he's due.
Yeah,
I wish
look,
I wish I had like a computer chair that had that kind of design,
Oh, it was like a throne. You
Yeah.
Oh,
monarch.
no, I don't know. That's
would be
not very
sweet.
good for.
McQueen.
That's not very good for back support.
Yeah, but who
Yeah.
cares? You want style.
Well, yeah. I mean, heavy lies the crown,
Lies the crown on your back.
Academics, YouTubers, they see something that gets them excited, like a TV show or 20,000 lesbians, and they decide to write a paper about it. Now, just because something's taught in a university doesn't mean that it's legit. Plenty of things have been taught in universities that are complete nonsense, like phrenology or business studies. But the early queer
Business studies is nonsense.
Yeah, that's a joke. It's a joke.
Ha ha ha. Ho ho. A knee slap.
Hilarious.
I don't even get the joke. Like you saying,
Probably
like business
probably
studies is like
'cause
bullshit.
he studied business studies and it didn't
Oh,
go
maybe.
anywhere.
I don't think
Probably.
he studied business studies. He's definitely a theater major.
That should be a fucking. That should be a gag. Be like, can you guess what failed major was your favorite YouTuber? Business, advertising, economics,
Media studies.
History.
History.
All right, let's keep rolling.
queer theorists weren't your typical tweed jacket elbow patches academics. Many of them were out in the streets protesting when they weren't up in the ivory tower. Queer theory was, and is, queer people writing theory about themselves. And it emerged in the early 90s specifically because that was a time when the meaning of queerness was changing.
So, Gabbles, you've been watching some educational videos about queer theory.
Uh-huh.
What did you glean?
Well, theory is a very strong word that gets misappropriated a lot of times.
Yeah,
It's
bit of
more
an understatement.
queer navel gazing, if anything.
Yeah, hang on. Are you telling me that a bunch of academics sitting around writing theory about themselves is navel gazing?
Big shock, honestly.
Yeah.
This is funny.
Well, does anybody have anything else to say on queer theory? We're kind of being vague about it, but
I think that sums it up, doesn't it?
it sure
Yeah,
does.
it
I turned.
seems like intellectual quackery.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's all about like overanalyzing labels and where they come from, but making sure that the origin point of all the labels has to do with oppressing a certain aspect of the human condition. That's basically it. So it's just funneling everything through that lens. So like calling somebody a male or a female has certain connotations to it that carry negativity with it from that label and like all that kind of bullshit.
It's kind of a theology for themselves.
It is. It's very much a secular religion.
Are you saying that they are following a binary of oppressed and oppressors?
Hey. That's illegal to point out. Did you know that?
Oh no.
But yeah, I mean, that's basically what it is. It's just deconstructing labels around sexuality and gender to the point where they don't mean anything. Because it's
And
not
then
actually a
utopia
useful theory.
happens, right?
And then utopia happens somehow. It's not actually useful to anything that's going on in the real world. I'll just say that. So that's probably why there's also not a lot of classes on it, because it's fucking useless. Just putting that out there.
Maybe.
Not so a lot of people used to use the word lesbian to mean a woman who was mannish and frigid, a librarian in need of a good Male politicians even used to use it as an insult if their female colleagues got a little bit too uppity. But in
Is that Tenny?
What,
I was
what is
good
he
as-
saying?
Oh, you missed out. He was saying
No,
that.
I already said. It's just I'm just not.
That doesn't seem
Yeah,
to be a
I-
working definition of lesbian.
Yeah,
don't
I was
think
gonna say because Tenny, you know, kind of like the history of like lesbian, and you're more into that than I am.
I don't even think that's ever been a definition, at least in English. To pull up Wiktionary, what's favorite? Lesbian, of a woman, homosexual, gay, preferring mostly or exclusively women as romantic or sexual partners. Definition 2. Between two or more women, homosexual, gay. 3. Intended for lesbians, specifically of institution or group. So, no, I have never heard the word lesbian be used to describe a woman who is frigid and cold.
Yeah, even like I mean, because he was putting stink on it. Like, you know, he'd be like, "You're a fucking lesbian." Like even like that kind of like stank that's being thrown on it. That's never been one of the stereotypes that's been associated with it, as far as I know. Is that they're
Yeah, if
Well,
anything,
frigid
I
and
mean,
cold.
you
Like
could say
mayonnaise.
you could the closest I guess you could say would be to say that a woman is butch if
Yeah.
she's mannish or dresses like a man or has her hair cut very short.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
that's
usually that's what you would use. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would have thought that the word tomboy would kind of predate such presumption, or
Yeah,
fall
it's
in
Yeah.
line
the
with it.
tomboy label is less about sexuality and more about just personality and
physical.
interests.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Anyway,
which more corresponds with the definition he threw out.
But yeah,
I think-
it's not really a definition that he just gave there.
I'm just saying, I don't think that Philosophy Tube has faced a lot of this kind of heat in his life, so he doesn't quite understand the insults or kind of what people
He
mean when
doesn't-
they say these words directed at you in a malicious way.
Oh, I was gonna
Like
say,
he's kind of
are
missing
you-
the beat there, is what I'm saying.
I was gonna say, are you trying to say that Philosophy Tube doesn't fully understand or grasp the struggles of the lesbians?
Yeah, surprisingly.
it's shocking,
Go
isn't
figure.
it? You
Huh?
know?
Maybe he has straight
I really wish Rusty
privilege.
was here. Sorry.
Straight privilege. By the way, I just said straight privilege because I know that would get under Philosophy Tube's skin.
Terrible.
1990, an activist group sprang up called the Lesbian Avengers, whose specialty was big, theatrical, edgy, funny, political messaging.
Shameless lesbian propaganda right here. Lesbian activist propaganda right here. Free of charge.
This is an incredible march. It's an incredible protest. I just want to say one
Shameless
thing.
lesbian propaganda right here, right here, right here, right
Yes,
here,
we
right here, right
protest,
here.
but we never
Lesbian propaganda.
The Avengers were also unapologetically sexy, which was partly because it was fun and attention grabbing, and also partly a serious point. In order to participate in
The discourse.
people are often expected to act in a very serious, rational way. But lesbians were stereotyped as shrill, emotional man-haters.
I mean, when you sort of market yourselves as saying like we don't need no man shtick, you do it really, really, really aggressively, and you go with the whole 9 yards with the butch aesthetic. That kind of seems to be what you sort of get portrayed as, or what people perceive you as: shrill, man-hating misandrists.
I'm going to support your point by pointing out something that shows that Philosophy Tube hasn't done any fucking research or understands what was happening then or anything that has to do with the gay rights movement. So this was 1992 is when Lesbian Avengers started. They lasted for about 5 years and broke up in 97 and then whatever. There's a bunch of different like splinter groups now, but they were never quite a big thing. And the reason for that would be back in 1988 is when there was the second largest meeting of the homosexual rights organizations, and they all got together and formed a plan. And basically what that plan became was the book After the Ball. And what After the Ball is a pretty famous book. And anybody who is interested in gay rights or the gay movement or what made it successful should read that book. Because that is what, if you ever heard Rush Limbaugh talk about the gay agenda or conservatives talk about the gay agenda, have you guys ever heard that?
Yeah, not a
I
long
was
time.
going to make the joke that they all grouped together to make the gay agenda.
Right.
Damn it.
That's the book that they're referring to when they say the gay agenda. That's the book. So this is like a seminal book in the gay rights movement because it laid out very specific things. And actually, you know what? Just give me 1 second here. I want to. There's something hilarious in that book.
Oh, well then this gives me the perfect opportunity to point out, because I don't want them to get away with saying this. Did you catch that Philosophy Tube said they were unapologetically sexy?
Right, I know.
Yeah.
That's well, beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, that's them.
But I just kind of want to say, okay, so After the Ball, I found the passage I wanted to read. After the Ball was written by a guy who was a PR expert, a manager. He worked in the industry, and a guy who was a psychiatrist, a neuropsychiatrist. And they kind of wrote this book on how to rehabilitate the image of the gays to America because of crazy fucking stupid groups like the Lesbian Avengers. There's actually, in the beginning of After the Ball, He says the gay revolution failed, and here's why. Because you guys are fucking crazy assholes. And here. I just want to read this. We're assumed to consist entirely of extreme stereotypes: men, ultra swishy and ultraviolet; Frankensteinian thug women with bolts on their necks; mustachioed Dolly Parton wannabes; leathermen in boots and whips; ombudsman of pedestry of how do you say that?
Pederasty?
Pederasty. There we go. Ombudsman of pederasty, squiring their abuds boys, all ridiculous, deranged, or criminal. And when we're finally allowed to rally and march, to lay our case before the cameras of the straight American public, what do? They crawl out of the woodwork as our ambassadors of bad, and will be all the screamers, stompers, gender blenders, sadomasochists, pederasts, and confirm America's worst fears and hates. You can call it gay liberation if you like. We say it's nonsense, and we say to hell with it.
Beautiful.
So
times have changed. You know what? That was back then. All right, the philosophies of society have changed, animal. Don't you understand?
Well, so like the first 2/3 of the books is devoted to like talking about like what the image in the media should be, because we're talking about like a marketing perspective. And he's like, hey, marketing's kind of a new thing. We can use that as a tool to rehabilitate our image as well, and kind of follow those tactics and do those tactics. So that's kind of what the beginning of the book is, which is what they call the gay agenda. And then the back third of the book is just them laying into these gay liberation groups, this kind of like dirtiness of the gay community, and just how people act to be like, hey, you all need to straighten the fuck up. So, as you can tell, it was a very divisive book. Obviously, the conservatives latched onto the first third, and the gay rights groups latched onto the back third. But the more important and smart people followed what the back third said, and that would be why Lawrence v. Texas got overturned and we got Obergefell, is because we followed that plan that they laid out for cleaning up the gay community. And now we got these stupid fucking LGBTQIA plus whatever doing exactly what they said ruined it the first time around. So,
Look,
fucking morons.
we gotta
For
overturn it.
everyone.
So
I know. Yeah.
we gotta go back. Return.
Back to the past.
But anyway, After the Ball is a great book, and I love it.
It is pretty devastating.
Yeah.
And that, kids, is why you read the whole fucking article.
But here's the thing: it's the most important book in the gay rights movement, and none of these fucking guys have even read it. They don't know what happened. So that's why he holds up like these, like the Lesbian Avengers horse shit that did fucking nothing. The biggest thing that they're known for is something called Bedgate, which was at a Boston Pride parade where they weren't allowed. They didn't apply to march in the parade or anything. The organizer said, "No, we don't want you here." So they wheeled a bed out in the middle of the parade and started making out and squirming on it, and like, you know, doing really hot and heavy petting.
Oh
And
my
people
God.
were like, "What the
Ray,
fuck?"
you called it.
Yeah, like what the fuck? And then the Pride Parade organizers had to go out and to like the Boston Globe, be like, "Look, we don't know these people. Like they just kind of snuck on. This isn't representative of our movement." Like this was back in like '96, and that's the kind of shit they do, and it ruined it. It's like you're ruining what we're trying to do. You fucking idiots.
I don't know if I like Mattress Girl Precursor.
Yeah, I mean that's like the thing that they're most known for. Every single protest that they've done fucking failed. Like they're idiots, and I don't know why you'll see throughout this whole video he like holds them up as this these were the people that won us our rights, and just like, no, they didn't. You fucking moron.
Sounds like someone who actually fucking bites into the title of Lesbian Avenger or the.
Anyway, I'm triggered.
Very triggered.
No matter how serious they acted, it was a game they were never going to win. So the Avengers said, "F your standards of respectability. Public discourse is horny now," which is a stance that I respect. I deliberately sexualized myself on this show, partly to get away from philosophy's image as this boring academic thing, but mainly because it's fun and I crave attention.
Moment of honesty.
I mean,
That explains
Beautiful.
everything about this channel.
I would wish that you stop trying to sexualize me or in front of me.
Is this the moment he started to think, maybe I can be the lesbian?
No.
No.
Use my straight cis powers for good. Wait.
I think this is the video though, where he says like, "I've never had feelings of gender incongruence" or something like that.
Oh no.
I don't know if this is this video or another one, but
A lot of people
discourse
was open to everybody, but the Lesbian Avengers showed that wasn't really true. They had to do things differently if they were going to be noticed. So they exposed the fact that
the discourse
was really just for the straights. And the queer theorists found the same thing with philosophy. It's
By the way, the queer theorists hate that fucking book I was talking about.
Oh, of course.
Oh, naturally.
It's just like Tenny, that homosexuality and the Civ book by Louis
Yeah.
Crompton.
Mhm.
Did you notice in the beginning of that he takes a shot at Foucault?
In the introduction,
Yeah.
or
In the introduction, because he's like, look, I'm talking about pre 1856 for reasons that will become apparent. Because like Foucault's contention was that the idea of homosexuality was created by heterosexuality through the label of homosexual by whatever Kentberg in the 1850s. So like Louis
Yeah.
Crompton is like, that's horseshit. Homosexuality has been around for much longer than that, you fucking idiot. And this book is going to prove it. I love Louis Crompton. He's a cool dude.
it's
Yes.
great.
Anyway,
supposed to be about asking questions and challenging assumptions, but this chrome-dome French philosopher called Michel Foucault realized in the 70s that who is in charge tends to affect what kinds of questions can be asked. So the queer theorists tried to ask questions that philosophy had previously ignored. Like if you're talking about, I don't know,
a bunch of Tunisian children just got shivers down their spine when these pictures came up.
Which is like, what should the age of consent be?
Never ask French philosophers which petition they signed in the 70s.
No.
Oh, Gabbles has been making memes for us.
Meme Lord Gabbles here.
Because I've said
Behold,
a
our
lot.
newest
It's just-
YouTuber.
I just like, fuck.
Those are good. Those are going in the video for sure.
Oh.
I read like 3 hours of like lectures on queer theory for this. I was like, I just don't remember
no.
anything. I just remember being angry.
It all just fell out.
Yeah, but Philosophy Dude doesn't really talk about queer theory a lot in this video. So it's like, it's frustrating.
It seems
Can't
to be
even
a trend with his
correct the fucker.
videos. Is
Yeah.
the title of the video will be like something, and then most of the video has nothing to do with that thing. Doesn't actually go into the actual philosophical roots of it, or just kind of throws out a bunch of things and doesn't cohere together.
Yeah, but we need that costume segment, don't we?
Yeah.
And all the musicals.
The musical
Come on.
number.
Here's the
costume.
real musical number that he should have used.
It reminds me of this time somebody made a video about how, like, he made an entire video about how actually nobody sang "You Should Suck the Dick, Bigot."
Mm-hmm.
And then he linked a video as evidence, which said exactly that.
Yeah, they do a lot of that. They like to link to videos
Imagine my
that
shock.
disprove their points.
Who the fuck clicks the link, really?
Like, we're not
Alright.
saying sex isn't real. Link,
I'm
video.
back.
Sex isn't real.
You know what? Before we continue, there's just a correction I want to make because I reread that line I read,
Oh.
and it didn't say they crawl out of the woodwork. It says we call them out of the woodwork as our ambassadors of bad. So he's saying we instead of they. I just want to make that correction.
So it's our fault.
It is. I misquoted it. I'm sorry.
It's all the gays' fault.
It's Dan's fault specifically.
Thank you.
the philosophy of knowledge and how knowledge comes from experience. Don't you think it's worth bringing up the fact that some knowledge is forbidden? In some places, kids are prevented from learning about things like gay and lesbian families. So the kids who grow up queer have to learn what that means through unofficial channels and different kinds of experiences. There's a bit of a blind spot in the philosophy there that queer theorists might like to write about.
Yeah, unfortunately, they might find people like him.
Are there actual official channels? Like, is there the gay office of intelligence where they're like, hey, here's
Well,
what you need to know.
I've been critical, I mean, I grew up gay, so, you know, I had to deal with that. My parents didn't quite know what to do. I've been critical that there's not enough, actual, substantive resources for parents who maybe have a teen who is gay, you know, but it is what it is. Unfortunately, we got a lot of screaming idiots in the field that want to write these fucking pseudo-religious books about it instead of something that's useful. Another thing I hate the LGBT movement for.
Yeah, there's not a lot of there's one thing you can say about queer theory is it is not practical.
No.
There's no practical use for it. This is not something you teach a teenager exploring these ideas for the first time to help them understand their situation. Like, it's gonna do nothing for them.
No, if anything, it's more confusing and just...
Yeah, it'd be more worth it to sit down and, like, explain common pitfalls. Because I know we talked about this to Animal. Because I was looking at videos of, like, young gay men talking about how when they were preteens or young teenagers, they hooked up with grown men and the level of parenting that goes on there.
Yeah,
they just don't tell them what a healthy relationship looks like in that context.
Like I've said it before. I think parents are just less likely if they have a teen who is gay. Like they're less likely to look into their relationships or who they're with or talk about like dating and like how to act on a date or things like that, just because they kind of maybe don't understand it or they're going through their own thing about it, which is fine.
Or maybe they're hoping they aren't dating, right?
Yeah, or maybe they're hoping they aren't dating. But it's just when you're not talking to your kid about those kinds of things and knowing where they're going and knowing where they are, I think a lot of them seek risky behavior. It's lack of parenting, and that's a shame. And I don't know. I think that's the kind of information that should be out there.
One thing that does makes me curious about the idea of using the quote-unquote official channels, like teaching it in schools. Like, the best case scenario is what we have if we go off the current standard, which is just sex education. And let's be honest, like, not much of that necessarily sticks to kids in their own way. So what kind of thing would you learn?
Honestly,
it'd be great if you had like relationship studies or something.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say, because that was around when I was a kid. Kav, did you ever go through a class where you like kind of learned how to like behave on a date and things like that?
No.
No? Maybe,
kind of
maybe I'm older.
I went to high school in a heavily African American district, and they tend to be more conservative.
Yeah.
So they'll do the sex education stuff, really basic. But
is it like heavy church involvement in the schools?
There's some, for sure, but we get a lot of here's the ways to prevent STDs, but of course abstinence. You should be doing abstinence.
Yeah,
See, that's pretty typical for I guess mostly black schools. Yeah, so
you got the diagram of the penis and the vagina.
Yeah.
I learned about sex pretty early because I was a biology nerd as a little kid.
Pretty sure that
once you figure out how animals do it, you kind of put things together.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid, I had 3 different sets of encyclopedias, and I think it was the 1998 World Fact Book, the S through SI volume, because it was broken up into 2. That particular the S volume.
Oh, you dirty boy.
Of the S volume, I would just read through volumes of the encyclopedia for fun, because I was that kind of kid. And I ended up reading the encyclopedia entry on sexual intercourse, and it just explained everything in the most. It was just basically the medical view of it, biological view of it. You know, the male has his organs, the female has hers, and so on. And that's how a baby is produced. And it went through the stages of pregnancy.
Did it feel naughty to read, Tenny?
No. So I was like,
oh, you're ruining it for me.
I was like, I know how I was when I had those encyclopedias for like years. They were great. But yeah, that's how I found out about it before health class.
Yeah, I remember I had my parents bought me like a puberty book.
Oh yeah.
that it was like just like a general. Yeah, it was just like a general like, here's what's going to happen. You're going to have hair where you didn't notice hair before. It's like, oh no. Like you need to start wearing deodorant because you're going to be stinky.
And have more hair than you know what to deal with.
And you rebelled against that, right? You're like, screw your arms.
Yeah, screw your follicles.
Classic man.
Push them all off my head.
Yeah. My parents sat down and gave me the talk years after my friends had already told me about pretty much everything, and I'd already found porn. So
Well, then you got something to judge it against if your parents are being truthful.
Yeah.
It's called having sources and going into an argument already well educated. You know what I mean?
I think I was like 12, 13 when they gave me the talk, but I had been
Yeah.
I had known about that kind of shit since like
By 12,
Yeah.
13, most kids have already seen porn,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I think these days you probably need to have at least some kind of recursory talk at like
Yeah.
8 or 9,
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say like
Just
8.
to, like,
Oh.
just so they
Yeah.
know what it is. They don't
It's
have
like you're
to.
going to see some very saucy Minecraft skins. Okay. And here's what that means.
Hey, here's what it is. If you see it, you don't need to panic or freak out, or this is what it is. You shouldn't be looking at it. Just some kind of conversation, I think, is appropriate.
And if you ever see a furry, click off the website.
It's,
Do not continue on that website.
this is what furries are.
There will be no movies with animated animals in this home.
Like, son, no, that's my stuff. Don't touch that. No.
You're not allowed.
Amazon, you're not going to homeschool your child with furry curriculum.
Woo.
That's my. Don't touch that. That's for Halloween. I swear. But you don't even wear it on Halloween. No.
My son's been
why
diagnosed
is
with
this hole
autism.
here in the suit? I don't understand why.
You can use the bathroom. You know, you need to use the bathroom. What do you think? Batman uses it in the fucking suit?
And they wrote about everything: language, gender, sexuality, fashion, politics, film, time. And you might be thinking, hang on a minute, time? Surely time is the same for everyone. It's not like there's the Gregorian calendar, the Jewish calendar, and then a separate calendar.
Here's where we learn that PT is a broken bullshit detector. The homosexual agenda. That's a good one.
It's the best calendar.
But he's about to make the case that there's such a thing as queer time. And watch how he does it. It sounds like somebody... Yep, it sounds like somebody about to read you tarot cards and give you crystals.
For queer people, Wittgenstein did prove that time is relative, but it's not that relative. If you take a set of identical twins and put one of them in a spaceship orbiting Earth at the speed of light, one of them may end up younger, but neither of them ends up trans. But not everybody has the same perspective on time. The life pattern that goes child, teenager, job, house, marriage, children is one that queer people go through less often, so their relationships to past, present, and future can be different.
That would not be time, then that would be
progression of your life and stuff.
That would be a life story. That wouldn't be time. It would just be
your relationship to maturity, and
that would be maturity. Your relationship to the world and to time. It wouldn't
life stages.
Time. Yeah, exactly. It would be stages of development.
No, see, Tenny, you're just applying a heteronormative lens on the concept of time. You need to queerify that concept.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know about
queer
time, but it is really fucking gay.
You know, maybe he has a point. A lot of the queers I know are not very mature, so
hey.
Wow.
You don't have to call me out like that.
Say that gender transition is like becoming a teenager again, going backwards in time, but also kind of different. If your transition involves surgeries or hormones, there's often a lot of waiting to access those things with no idea how long you'll be waiting. So the future can weigh heavily on the present. There can be a sense of lost time as well.
Wait, I just want to make a note. Did you catch how he kind of muttered the maybe sometimes in a different way of when he brought up some people find that transitioning is like going back to being a teenager?
Yeah, it's
I went to that slide just so fast. You can see
it's also
that
sometimes like becoming a kid again, which we learned about last time.
Oh no,
no.
Oh no. I mean, I've heard trans people describe their transition as like going through puberty because it kind of is.
Yeah.
Puberty that's sort of imposed upon an already matured body in a lot of instances.
Yeah. I'm just saying that that side glance and mutter, it says a lot. He knows
his fate.
He knows the forbidden knowledge.
Is that why so many gay men wear diapers?
God damn it! I'm gonna get triggered again.
A childhood that you never got to have. The possibility that somebody who's literally younger than you might be a senior trans person because they've been out for longer. And what if you get clocked? I'm sorry. A different form of life.
Should be.
Yeah, that was
because somebody has been open longer than someone else does not mean that they're a senior or that they're older. That's silly. That's not how time and aging work. I get the idea, but that's just not how that works.
Yeah, I know. It's like just because you've been out of the closet longer doesn't mean you're necessarily wiser.
Exactly.
I don't know. Is there like a rank and file for the gay system? Huh.
No, it's usually superficial and by looks.
I think most people are making up as they go along because there's not like a. It's not. It's only been very recently that in the wider culture, being gay has been acceptable. So like any real traditions are just like that only apply to the small group in your
There's
group,
some-
not to like the wider.
Yeah, there's some weird intersectionality stuff that can
Yeah.
happen in especially trans groups. Because you got
Well-
like trans women or trans men who has more privilege.
Right. I'll say my theory on it is the problem is I think it's no secret that the LGBT community actually doesn't exist, and that gay people and bi people and trans people come from all kinds of walks of life and actually belong to that community more so than having like a tied shared interest nationwide. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's just all the traditions for the quote unquote gay community have to do with all the protest events where we actually did come together, which is why Pride is still a thing and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of like the only traditions there. I don't think there will ever be supplanted and there'll be like a traditional gay lifestyle. Like I think it'll just be a lifestyle that also a gay person has. You know what I mean?
I think that like as time passes, like being gay, it'll kind of be like how in some societies and historically, like there are just some people, there are people who are just gay, and there are specific traditions which they share with everybody else, and there's some things that there's some things that they have to decide for themselves.
Yep, pretty much.
So it's not like the Borg then.
No, it's not like the
Aw.
Borg.
So I
Unfortunately.
wasted all of
The
that
gay
money
Borg.
on latex and laser pointers for nothing.
For nothing. Hmm.
Oh,
Wow.
Amazon down, boy.
Different ways of thinking about the major events that divide a life up. And that's why you can go and read philosophers and they will talk about queer time as opposed to straight time or heterotemporality. Which
This is where I was saying that philosophy tube is a broken bullshit detector, because you wouldn't hear that term and be like, I think I'm hearing bullshit. Come on.
I think you slipped in a few too many syllables there, buddy.
Well, no, that's an actual term.
Heterotemporality.
Really?
Yeah. Look, queer theory is all about making things up and then making up terms for it to make it sound official and stuff.
And they wonder why people think that their sexuality is made up.
I can't imagine why. Wow.
Why aren't you taking it more seriously?
Yeah, why? Excuse me, we're very serious people here. Let me tell you about heterotemporality.
Let me tell you about how the outdoors is queer.
Let me tell you how time is gay.
raises the hilarious possibility that we could rank time travel movies according to how queer they are.
Oh.
Fellas, is it gay to travel back in time to 1955 to make sure your parents go to the Enchantment Under the Sea dance? I mean, you're basically helping another man have sex.
It is kind of funny that like Marty McFly like got cucked by his dad. Just saying.
It's funnier that he cucked his own dad.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he did. Well, he accidentally cucked his own dad. I don't think his dad enjoyed it, but Marty McFly definitely enjoyed it.
Well, isn't it a better,
because he got to be alive?
Yeah,
isn't it a better gay analogy that he's currently hanging out with a much older gentleman on his free time?
I love that. Did you ever see the Back to the Future trailer where they cut together like and like made it seem like they were in a relationship?
Oh no!
Oh, it's so good. I gotta find it.
God.
I'll post it. It was so good.
Now that's gay time.
Yeah. Hey,
now we're talking queer time.
Yeah.
Is queer time the reason that brunch was invented?
It's the power of love.
Purely made for straight white women.
Which, as usual, is co-opted by gay men.
It's true.
Well, that's because they got to bring their
Can't get
gay
away from
friends
that.
in.
I mean, time is relative. Just look up Stephen Fry's boyfriend, and it's like, oh,
Why? Who's wrong with Stephen Fry's boyfriend? I've never seen him.
isn't he like
Is he ugly?
20?
Oh.
Ooh.
Well, when you got
Ooh.
money and you're famous, you know. I mean,
Yeah. When you're 70, I mean, why would
Woody
you?
Allen's girlfriend was 3 when they first met.
Oh God, ew.
No.
No.
Oh God.
And no one
That's,
had anything wrong with that, right? No one.
No.
Wait, was
not
that,
a single
was that
soul.
love at first sight, though?
Oh.
Oh no.
No.
I left my degree 22 years after the Lesbian Avengers marched on Washington. My university was actually famous for being the one where you were most likely to meet the person that you spend the rest of your life with. Unfortunately, my university girlfriend and I, we didn't stay together.
Oh boy. Can you imagine being in a relationship with this man?
Ah,
How
you say
great.
she got out at the right time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Before
so
it got
good.
a little awkward.
No, I'm just saying, like the pompousness. Oh,
High
and you
maintenance.
know that if they got in arguments, that he would be like, well, here are my rational points that I'm making. That'd be
Here are all
awful.
my citations.
Yeah,
Babe.
excuse me.
Babe, my treatise on why you should give me head tonight is almost finished.
Hold on, I gotta put on a costume and get my lighting right.
Oh, it's so good.
Like he pulls out a 500-page paper about why he should why his girlfriend should let him bang other chicks at the frat party tonight.
God, ew.
Look, you're looking at this through a monogamous heteronormative, okay?
Oh, we found a purpose for queer theory. Maybe it is useful.
Mm.
Why are you so insecure?
Yeah. Why are you so insecure? That's
It's
what
just like
monogamy
giving
is.
a handshake.
Yeah, what? You think I'm gonna leave you, babe?
And then a while ago, actually, I realized something really weird, which is that at 26, I am now older than my parents were when they were married.
Oh boy. DMCA. Copyright.
Oh.
No, this is the first of 2 musical numbers in this video. And this is literally just the music portion of Steady As She Goes with PT supplying the lyrics.
Amazing.
Now.
Pretty much. Except you sung it way better.
Oh, you're kidding me. Oh.
It's fine.
Does PT sing?
PT does
Yes.
sing. You want to hear
I need
some
to
of
hear
it?
it. I need to hear it.
Okay. All right. Oh, boy.
Oh,
Well,
so, to the future.
Well, actually, wait, did we click? Are we on a different video?
Back to the Future has come for us again.
Bad.
Okay.
I can see his
Let's roll.
chest hair.
Marty, what happened?
If you look under the pearl necklace, you can see chest hair.
Yeah, that's,
Oh
He
no.
does like a pearl necklace, doesn't he?
he does. Yeah. It's better to
You
clutch,
know-
I suppose.
You know what, Cobb? You should just like keep the sound from the song off, and just have our reactions to it. You just start groaning, and you just go, oh no,
you
what?
wanna do that? Yeah, let's just get a sample. We'll definitely do that with the next one because that one is groany.
Ooh.
There.
Oh.
So there you go.
My God, he really doesn't even try to do the vocals.
No, I think he's trying to be motherly in that part. Let's see if we can get to just him singing. I think.
Sounds a bit like it's hard to see for me to
Oh,
say it
God.
because I'm not too familiar with him, but it sounds almost like Dio or not Dio.
Dio doesn't sound like
Dio.
No, I'm thinking
Oh, did I?
fucking, what is the fucking electronic band from the 80s?
Oh, Devo.
Devo, that's it.
Yeah, Mark
What?
Slurs, bro. Love Devo.
Well,
Devo's one of my
he's
favorites.
got that kind of pipey, breathy, like, oh, there's no,
Devo is so good, and everybody who doesn't like Devo can suck it. It's such a good band.
I agree.
All right, let's see if this is the end of the song. Hang on. Might be. I think it is. No.
No.
What is this? 4 minutes? Come on.
It's the
You
whole
could've
song.
fucking-
Still going?
It's the whole song.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Should
it's
just
that
gotten William Shatner to do it.
now.
Oh, there we go. We're at the end of it. Thank God. What was it? That was like 4 minutes.
Ugh.
All right.
Listen, we all
two
like
dramas, please.
Nostalgia Critic, right?
Just imagine,
Right.
imagine Danimal. Imagine Danimal if I made you sing the whole fucking song.
Okay.
I
Can we-
would. Oh, I was gonna say I would watch every single Nostalgia Critic musical number that he's ever done in a row before I rewatch that Steady as She Goes video.
I don't understand what that added to the essay.
Definitely a
Adding?
point for Sight and Sound
Adding
magazine, rated
things.
number 1.
What does it have
The rest
to
of the essay is just supposed to get you to the musical number.
What does it have to do
Well,
with queer or anything?
Because like the song "Steady as She Goes" is like settle down, find a wife. You know.
Okay. Well, he's not
The
claiming
ideal,
he's not claiming to be
society.
queer here.
Oh, just
Oh.
wait.
Spoilers.
Just wait, Kav.
Okay.
You haven't bitten into the fruit yet.
Been bitten the fruit. Okay.
All right.
She's bracing for
Two
impact.
drama.
2 dramas, please.
The Lesbian Avengers became a big, popular movement.
No, they didn't. That's a lie.
That was a lie.
Well, they did. Okay, so they did do a thing called the. I guess I'll just say it. The Dyke March.
Ah,
That's kind of what they called it, and it happens around Pride in cities, I guess. Did you guys see the tweets I sent you from the Chicago?
It's not
Did
One.
they do that in New Orleans?
no.
So the Dyke March, at least in Chicago, has been entirely supplanted by queer and trans folks of colors.
not
it's
shocked.
not even a lesbian march anymore.
Amazing.
Yeah, so that's kind of what happened to Lesbian Avengers. Oh, it's so sad.
And in doing so, they changed the meaning of the word lesbian. A lot of philosophers, most famously
Did they?
Bertrand Russell, thought that words are just shorthand descriptions of things. Like, the word lesbian is just short for a woman who only loves other women. My name, Oliver Thorn, is just short for that actor who does the philosophy videos. But what about a word like...
In quotation marks.
Yeah, he just called himself an actor. How do we feel about that?
What are you talking about? The whole skit? That was pure
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
act. Like, go. Sorry.
Oh, no.
I think the role has overtaken the actor at this point.
I had to.
This is so bad. I didn't want to make fun of Philosophy Tube for that.
Well, if he didn't want to be made fun of, maybe he should have just acted more better.
Look,
Yeah.
it's his fault. He posted cringe.
Yeah. This is pretty cool.
Post and cringe.
All right.
Rangers posted retaliation.
So, yeah, lesbian. Let's see. Where were we? Talking about lesbians. About how Lesbian Avengers changed
For a
the
lot
word.
of people, it's actually a slur, a way of saying somebody who deserves what's coming to them. To activists and academics starting around the 90s, it was a word that they could use to reclaim some of their agency. Some people treat queer as just short for LGBTQIA+. But here's a weird thing. Somebody can say, I believe in queer rights.
Do we buy this argument of like you should use a slur yourself to take the power away from it? I never quite.
I kind of understood it in like when I was younger, but I always kind of see it, or I think it's best utilized as a way of what's it kind of like oversaturating it so that it becomes normal, sort of thing.
We got a ringer that wants to come in and talk about slurs.
We have a
Oh,
furry.
boy.
We have a furry trying to bust in.
We got the slur expert
He's
on the
knocking
show.
on the door. Ray, Ray, you want to pop in here?
Yes,
All right,
come
look,
from the
look,
heavens.
I would have stayed where I was. I wanted to talk about this since Daniel brought it up. There is the only recorded case I know of Danimal is actually furries, because it is a very popular term they use on 4chan to basically just mean those degenerates who want to fuck animals. I know
you're
that the
talking
term
about the use of fur F word?
yes.
It's like using it maliciously.
Yeah, look, I know the term existed before that too, but it was, at least as popular internet culture goes, it was used as a very derogative slur, and eventually it became one of those things where it was just, fuck it, just use it, because what is it gonna do? Like, what is it going to do to you if it just means nothing?
Yeah,
to you?
I
It just
guess.
means a descriptor.
Yeah, I just don't. I just am still like, I don't know. I don't think it does much.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it works.
The efficacy.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it works for everything, but I also do know that this is also part of the reason why some people in the black community are like, oh yeah, like just use the N-word.
Yeah.
Because if it just means nothing, then it's not a thing that they can use to beat you with.
But it still doesn't mean nothing, huh? I mean, it's still pretty pungent and pointed and.
Well, I mean, that's kind of
word.
the whole point about language in general. I mean, you can always like that's what I was trying to say is like the best way of it, or of like the idea of recapturing slurs and stuff, is that the best outcome is just normalizing it to the point where it's okay. You know, the idea of if one bad word's okay, then it's all okay, or if one's bad, then it's all bad. That sort of thing, and that's really it. But the thing is, like, it's, as I was saying, is the thing with language. You can have it be whatever it wants, but it will always be the context and the purpose of the word is always going to be the driving force for the pain that you go through. That's meant to be delivered. You know?
Okay.
That's why I can say, that's why we've said slurs to each other plenty of times.
Yeah, I know, but that's because I mean them.
Yes.
Yes. So we hate each other.
True. Nah, I guess, I don't know. I just don't, like, because, like, I'm, like, thinking about the N-word, and sure, like, but it hasn't really lost its bite or its power.
No,
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, like, I get it on, like, a personal individual level for, like, resilience and anti-fragility. But just in terms of if you're trying to not use those words in society, like, it still carries a bite to it. But,
I know, at least in the way that, like, the thing I'm talking about, the biggest thing about it is that the people who do kind of view this in this way, they're like freedom of speech activists.
Yeah.
The biggest thing they don't want to see is they don't want to see these words be labeled hate speech. So nobody can say them.
I'm not saying that the words shouldn't exist or nobody should say them. I'm just saying, like, this specific purpose of just like, I am reclaiming this
Look,
slur
if I'm
and
gonna
power
read
away from it. I'm just like, I don't know if that really is a thing.
Look, if I'm gonna read Huckleberry Finn, I'm gonna say the one person's name loud and proud.
Ancient Joe?
Yeah. Oh, no.
Huckleberry.
Get a little closer.
Okay.
Even if they don't know what all the letters in that acronym actually stand for, the problem with Russell's theory that words are just shorthand descriptions of things is that you can use a word even if you have no definite description in mind.
Come on, wait. What's that say? What did it say? How do we go back?
It was just it was the acronym for LGBTQIA.
Except they added trans and non-binary.
Even if they don't know what all the...
There we go.
Let's see.
Questioning.
Yeah, that one's
Yay,
okay.
bisexual.
2 is okay. 3 is okay. 4 is
3's okay, really?
What?
Bisexual.
Wait.
Pick them out.
Piece of shit.
Well, we'll still do a bisexual video if you ever find one, Gabs.
Don't exist.
We keep to the periphery.
Have you seen that video of that based lady who was being talked to by some man on the street, interviewer type? She's like, oh, the T doesn't belong.
Oh no.
Because LGB, those refer to sexual orientations. The rest of that stuff is not sexual orientation, so it shouldn't be in there.
True.
Damn.
Very true.
Wrong.
And the interviewer is just like slack-jawed.
Yeah. The average people know what's up. I'm just saying. I don't think it's all doom and gloom. All right. What's wrong in there, Gabs?
Well, I don't like the 1, 2, 3, 4 last ones.
The 4 last ones, trans and non-binary.
Questioning isn't an identity. That's not a sexuality. So why would you put that in there?
Yeah, I always thought that Q
also
stood for
not that.
queer.
Oh, it does. This is an old one. Because when I was growing up, the Q Like there was
Yeah, but what's
definitely like
questioning?
an idea of like, be accepting to somebody who is questioning it, but be okay if
Yeah.
they're not gay.
Ah.
And it's not like don't pressure them one way or the other.
Hmm.
That's the way I
Now,
grew
once
up,
you start
definitely.
questioning, you're queer.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
there's like no, like just
Well, I
like
mean,
whoa,
now, yeah.
like you fall down a well.
You're an egg.
Hatch that egg.
You fall down a well and
Yeah.
you suck every
Yeah.
dick on the way down.
It used to be there was a lot of talk because in the 90s, in the early 90s, because they were really pushing for like you need to come out of the closet, but we need to understand what that means, and that's not the same thing for everyone. There was like a lot of talk around like what that means to be like gay and stuff like that. And these kind of people just kind of completely forgot about that. And like, if you have any feelings whatsoever, you're gay. It's like no.
Also, his list doesn't seem to be complete because it says questioning intersex and then asexual, and then I don't know, like
Sexual
asexual what?
Asexual what?
Acronym actually stand for. The problem with Russell's theory that words are just shorthand descriptions of things is that you can use a word even if you have no definite description in mind. You can even use the same word.
Yeah, we know.
Mm-hmm.
It's all what queer theory is, you idiot.
Just using words.
Just using words,
Just throwing
whatever,
them
with
around.
no definite
Even
mind.
if we don't know,
Throwing 'em
we'll
around.
make up a meaning for
Yeah,
it.
whatever.
It's fine. That's our meaning, right, my fellow queers?
That's true.
To mean very things. If lesbian is just short for a woman who only loves other women, how can we explain the difference between a protester in 1992 saying Washington DC is full of goddamn lesbians and a male politician in 1992 saying Washington DC is full of goddamn lesbians? And what about all the
So if you throw a little bit of stank on it, that's the difference.
Ooh.
The difference is tone. The difference is tone.
Oh,
Like
this is
the activist is obviously supportive that there are so many goddamn lesbians in Washington D.C. at the protests. The politician is full of scorn and disdain for the goddamn lesbians full of Washington D.C.
Earlier he cited a article that was about denotation, and what he's
Yeah.
citing here is connotation, not denotation, and that
Yes.
never gets fully delineated here. So if you don't know, denotation is like the dictionary definition, and connotation is the tone or feeling behind it. It's not necessarily associated in the dictionary definition, but just like your personal feeling about it.
But that's what queer theory is exploring, Kov.
Connotations, and connotations become the denotation by magic.
And explaining it. Oh, it's just explanatory. It's not trying to push anything.
Big news.
Kov.
Can you be both non-binary and lesbian? Oh,
Actually, I was going to say
Yes.
it looks like what Casper would look like if he got brought back to life. Right? With that like button nose.
Oh, shut up.
Definitely lesbian, though. I think we can all agree this is a lesbian.
I don't know. We'll see.
She got that scruffy hair.
Non-binary, I think.
non-binary people who call themselves lesbians? So another philosopher called Ludwig Wittgenstein came along with a radical idea, and he said that language is a lot like acting. Let's say that you are a Hollywood actor, and you're on set, and your line is, "I am your father." And you say it, and the director calls, "Cut!" It was really nice work. Tell me a little bit about that line, though. Talk me through your process. Tell me what you think. Oh, well, I is just a shorthand way of saying Darth Vader, which is a shorthand way of saying Sith Lord and a big-time bad guy. And your, that's short for Luke Skywalker, rebel hero of the movie. And father, which is just a short way of saying I had sex with his mum.
Did you guys get the joke?
That's the longest,
That was
most
a
boring
joke?
way I've ever heard somebody explain a scene in Star Wars.
Well, the point is he's trying to say like, "Oh, tell me about that line," and he did a sentence diagram to explain the line. But what the director meant was, "Oh, what's the emotion behind that line?" He's saying, like,
Denotation,
That
connotation.
was the joke.
The
exactly.
joke is denotation versus connotation. That's it.
That's the joke.
Ha 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 ha.
Very high-minded.
To act the line properly, you don't just need to know what all the words refer to, it's about what you do when you say it. Are you threatening him, persuading him, reassuring him, tempting him? The question a director will sometimes ask.
So this is all just justification for using queer, by the way. This is why we need to suffer through this.
Oh, good.
Their actor is, what action are you playing? And Wittgenstein said, yeah, language is just like that. The meaning of a word like gay or lesbian, queer or trans isn't its definition, it's how it's used in what he called a language game.
See, but here's the thing. The reason that he's going through this in like pedantics is because he's saying like it's a combination of both of those things, of both denotation and connotation. What he's trying to say is that it's all connotation. That's how all language works, and it's not true.
I thought he was just saying that because he was a pedantic asshole, like a philosopher.
No, it's just like this. The whole basis for like, or not the basis, but this is like what queer theory is it's all just focused on connotation and the emotion of words and things like that. Like, well, what do they really mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, what's your feelings about them? And it's just such horseshit.
And language games can change. In the 16th century, people used the word queer to just mean weird or odd. There's that line in The Legend of the Lambton Worm, he catched a fish upon his hook he thought looked very queer, which just means the fish looked unusual to him, rather than it had a septum piercing and an undercut. Queer started to be used in the Victorian era to look down on men who had sex with...
That was a pretty good joke, though. Just saying. I actually enjoyed that one.
Other men. And it took about a century for it to start being reclaimed. The debate about whether or not it's okay to say the Q slur is often a generational thing, with younger people like my audience generally, though not always, skewing towards accepting it, whilst older folks can be a little bit more hesitant, because it depends what kind of language games you're used to playing with it. And that's before we even introduce the internet.
Internet?
Oh no.
What's
The
that?
internet.
Bo Burnham told me about that thing.
Is it made of tubes?
It's made of tubes. This is so reductive of how language works. It's all language games.
Now that I should point out that anybody, if you have a septum piercing and you are within a 150-mile radius of me, I will personally go after you.
That is a verbal threat.
Oh no,
I
I'm
will-
sorry.
I
You're
will-
gonna need to cut that out.
I will single-handedly destroy every single septum piercing in existence.
No,
Penny's got like
You're gonna
a
fire
he's
something
got a statue that
He's
he's
got a-
trying to make with all the melted septum piercings.
My
he's
never-ending,
gonna make a golden cat.
my unending hatred for people who have their septum and other unnatural parts of their body pierced keeps me
Oh, no.
sustained on a day-to-day basis.
I had my nipples pierced.
Not good.
Ooh.
You are
Yeah.
next.
How do we feel about slurs?
I think we already talked about it.
We
Yeah,
have.
I use
Oh
them
yeah.
a
we-
lot.
I love
I
them
mean,
personally. I use them every day.
They are funny. They're a good punchline for a joke because they're so awful. But I'm not too big on slurs, like using them actually.
I'll call
I
them
use them all the time.
straight friends. You know
Yeah,
well, not the English one, but yeah, the slur.
that's
Like
fine.
if they're being faggy, I'm just gonna call them faggy. Oh fuck.
I know. Yeah,
I call my
I love
straight
that.
friend.
That one Louis C.K. stand-up bit about it was so good.
Yeah, it's great.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Call my friends cunt suckers if they're straight.
Stop being a faggot and suck that guy's dick.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's so
Be a
good.
fag about it.
The people from Phoenix are Phoenicians.
In her book, Because Internet, linguist Gretchen McCulloch points out that online speech has a lot of cool ways of showing you're not being serious. Like earlier on, I didn't just say heterotemporality, I said heterotemporality. People get put off by jargon, so when I use a technical term, I undercut it by taking the piss. If you go back and watch this video again, you'll find I've done it in a lot of other places too. That's internet.
I feel like if you vivisect a joke, it'll fucking die.
Yeah, it's like we get it.
Just
Like
don't.
he thinks he's so much smarter than his audience, right?
Yeah, it's like, oh, do you not get I can has cheeseburger? Oh, I've been around.
As a note, I own this book. And I
Yeah?
read it. And I read it. And
Yeah?
it's a very good book.
Oh, okay.
I learned a lot. It goes into like the history of the internet and how different lingos developed over that time and how even chat rooms developed. So it's really interesting linguistically.
Al Gore
yeah, yeah.
made the internet. Did you know that? That's an internet fact.
Whoa, Al Gore.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Oh, that was so good. I missed the 2000 election. That was when politics was fun.
That language, baby. Very access, much engagement. Whomst feels like this is a friendly space that they can contribute to by doing a hecking subscribe and sharing the video. Today's title is very deliberately not queer, but queer. The sparkle emoji is a digital gesture that lets you know I'm probably not playing a serious action.
This is cool information, I guess, but this is just all fluff to pad a video that says nothing, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh my god, the fucking cringe though.
Yeah, that's
Jesus
pretty cringy.
Christ. I mean, it's not even like old, but it's just not good.
I mean, this joke kind of thing that's going on right now, that's also like a informational joke, it's going on too long. Too long.
Yeah.
This needed to be like a minute.
Like using it. And one person describing themselves with a slur is an eccentric. A whole group of people suddenly playing that language game became a movement. But why bother reclaiming it at all? Activists use the word queer to be edgy and get attention. But why did anybody else start picking it up? Well, in his video, Basically I'm Gay, YouTuber Daniel Howell says that he sometimes finds all the labels in LGBTQIA+.
Should have been called Basically I Used Too Much Concealer.
Oh,
Hey.
Oh.
hey, you know, when you're a pro and you got to get in front of those ring lights and put on a good 4K show, you better be putting on some concealer. You better be looking nice. I don't want to see them welts.
If it's
and
an
pimples
audition
and moles
tape
and
for
shit.
Casper the Friendly Ghost, I could get it.
Sometimes people got to cake it on, you know. Acne's a bitch.
That's fair.
Listen. Just use a darker concealer, you dumb shit.
Yeah. We use one that's actually a skin tone.
That might be their skin tone. You don't know.
Yeah, hey. They might be
Skin
terminally
tone.
online.
Skin tone is undead.
I was gonna say, oh, so he's not gay, he's just a vampire.
Oh yeah, all vampires are gay. I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
True. He's even sparkly. Look.
Rigid and restrictive. And he likes queer because it's like an amorphous blob. And amongst those who describe
Yeah, no shit.
Much like
Therein
many in the
lies
queer
the problem.
community.
Oh, that's a low blow. Oh, let's go.
themselves as queer, there's often a general feeling that it avoids putting a definitive label on things. Queer can be used to mean strange from a conventional viewpoint, but that allows for a lot of diversity and change, and it's pretty open-ended, which reflects the open-ended, diverse ways queer lives often unfold. But on the other hand, some people hate it because they fought for so long to call themselves something more definitive. It goes back to that issue of who is in charge and what questions can be asked. I used to think that queer meant not for me.
Because it doesn't. Yeah, it's I don't think that's the opposition of the word queer is like, oh, but we fought to define ourselves more singularly. I think it's more people that are like, yeah, I don't really want my like sexuality to be who I am, I guess. Like my entire life. I guess that's why people
What?
shy away from queer a lot of the times.
Honey, that's just heteronormativity.
Right,
Or
yeah.
to define yourself as strange. To give yourself
Yeah.
the connotation of I'm an outside person.
Yeah, why
Everyone
would
else
you
is
want
normal.
that? Why?
Now, if you don't like normal, I can definitely see why you'd gravitate towards that. You want to be different. You want to be
Rebel.
unique.
Just be you. Be an individual, goddammit. What's so hard about that? You don't have to join a group.
You know, that's kind of one of the, I'll say it. It's one of the prerequisites of trans identity is not liking yourself.
Yeah, I guess so. It's kind of sad. Thanks for bringing me down.
That's why I hesitated.
Oh.
Not of me. It never really occurred to me to ask the question. I always just assumed that I was straight. I threw my feelings away. Like the lantern worm. And like the lantern worm, they only got bigger. I couldn't tell you when it happened, or how exactly, but I...
By the way, this music in the back, like as he's like coming out, basically,
Wow.
it's
Little,
like so like brrr, like something of dread is happening.
No.
Won't be the only coming out video.
Yeah, there's a couple more.
What do you think is going to be the next coming out?
Oh, I don't know.
I think this person is probably addicted.
Zoophile.
Probably addicted at this point to this process.
Zoophile one. Little. Think a little's next.
Little.
Demisexual. I think it's gonna start.
Ooh.
Demisexual is a good safe one.
They're gonna be like, nope, I don't want
Yeah.
sex with randos.
Maybe if PT needs to like redo their image if something nasty comes out, probably.
Mhm.
All right, let's roll.
That's sort of the go-to move, isn't it?
Yeah,
For
it sure
for a
is.
progressive person to do something.
Yeah.
Maybe
terrible, then
they
they-
can pull a Milo and just go back to straight.
I think we're a little past that point.
I would have said the same about Milo.
It started to become more and more uncomfortable when people used the word straight to describe me.
Because you filled your head with queer theory.
But the
You idiot.
meaning of men was starting to change for me. I started noticing different things about them. And to begin with, that was a little unsettling. I had to have some long conversations with myself. Only it's me, so they were less conversations and more, I'm not gonna tell you you're making...
Oh boy.
Oh God, no!
Oh yeah.
The moment you said there was music creeping up, it's the gay vampire. This is him.
So this might be where we can mute the video and just.
Come on, you.
Sorry.
I don't know if this one will copyright strike. Do you think the devil you know will copyright strike it?
I don't
I'm
want to
not
risk
There's
it.
an
familiar with the
audio.
song,
Here we
but-
go.
Let's
I
not
don't
risk
risk
it.
All right, fine.
Well, I still want, but you said we should riff, so I want to try.
We don't
Alright.
have the same YouTube cred as Philosophy Tube? What?
Unfortunately, not.
Yeah, he got a bit of that. What did you call it, Dan?
Gravitas.
Oh, I was gonna say straight privilege.
Oh, straight privilege. You fucking asshole. I was calling philosophy too a fucking asshole.
It's not
All right.
inaccurate.
Yeah, I know. All right. Oh God.
Oh, that's
Bisexual
bad
lighting.
flow.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, I think they are going to come out as bisexual after this. Number 6. By the way, this is 5 minutes long.
5
Too long of a
minutes.
5 minutes. This is 5 minutes. Oh God. I don't know if we're gonna last through this. So we just skip ahead. Yeah, I'm gonna skip a little bit. Okay, here's.
You're making it worse.
Okay.
I know.
1, 2.
Oh God, no! There's 2 of them.
It's duplicating.
Oh, look at. Oh, he's like. Yeah, look at him like nodding along with his other selves.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God.
Oh, yeah.
Come on. This is all a vanity project. Can you see why Sight and Sound ranked this the number 1?
It's just
The
not
number
good.
1. Oh, it's still going. Oh boy.
Oh, you're so
Oh.
flat, buddy. No, you got higher.
Oh, more bisexual colors. Look at how he's like adoring himself in the bottom left. Did you see
Yeah.
that?
Yep.
Oh boy.
Oh God.
Oh, there we go. We're back at a talking part, I think. Oh, maybe not. I don't know.
Is he still singing?
God.
Oh, he's still singing.
Just not done.
Oh my god, 5.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, it's still going. Oh my god. Okay, I think this is talking. There we go. Yay, we did it.
Yay,
I am
we made
sitting
it
here.
through.
Hey.
I'm
I
breaking
am
the
sitting
contract.
here in a complete and utter stupefaction from
We'll
all
see if
of
that's-
that.
I'm not sure if that's going to stay in, but
You know,
I'm
once
breaking
upon a time-
contract right now, just to ask,
Yeah.
Suppose he wanted to do Broadway.
Yeah, he keeps calling himself an actor and all this stuff. I'm
sure. Obviously, right, we make all the jokes against him and everything else, but he's very clearly trained in this stuff. I can't sing like that.
No, I can't either.
Even though I know I'm not good at singing, but this screams of somebody who wanted to do this stuff but couldn't, cut it.
I think they couldn't get over themselves.
Well, there's that problem too, but I don't know. I was watching that and I just felt pity.
Yeah.
I was man, this is what you wanted to do, wasn't it?
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I'm not a very talented person, not chiding that. It's so sad that it's this kind of talent wasted on this horse shit.
Just goes to show you, kids. Queer theory, not even once, kills your dreams.
Razzia.
And also, all theater kids should be beaten.
Oh, God, Tenny. Violence coming from you today. Violence.
Imagine being a philosopher and also questioning your sexuality.
Oh,
It's
no.
How do I know if I'm really bisexual?
Unheard of.
Yeah.
I mean, the people that
question
everything about your life, question their sexuality. It's impossible. Get out of here.
This is
Oh, is this
literally
actually the
ContraPoints.
First time he's added the bisexual lighting.
Yeah, it is bisexual lighting. It is very ContraPoints with that
The
wallpaper
wallpaper
in the back.
and the lamps and the
Oh boy.
Maybe this was his queer agenda.
starting the skinwalking about this point.
Yeah.
I would like to direct the attention back to the song number that I posted in the chat.
I was gonna say, did you ever see Single White Female?
No.
Where it's her, she gets a roommate, but the roommate slowly is taking over her life and cutting her hair like hers and dating her boyfriends and stuff and wanting to be her.
I think
this
I've
is
seen the RLM video of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying, just bringing that movie up for no reason.
People with borderline personality disorder tend to do that. They tend to mirror people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. That. Just a
little completely unrelated. I guess.
Yeah, just a factoid.
Yeah. Who? What?
Sexual. Well, never mind that. How do I really know anything? The idea that a word can change its meaning can be really scary. Wittgenstein realized that if the meaning of a word is how it's used, then philosophy is basically screwed. And so is science, and journalism, and Twitter, and...
Oh no!
Oh no, Twitter's screwed!
Twitter and journalism and philosophy is screwed. What will we do?
I just want to point out that we're 21 minutes into this video, and at least, I would say a third, if not close to a half of this video so far has been justifying using the word queer as if that's all queer theory is. This isn't an explanation on queer theory at all.
Not even close to it.
This is just a nothing. This video didn't need to happen.
Well,
and now it's well into the "this is really about me" part of the essay.
Yeah, really.
Almost like there's a pattern.
Narcissism.
Basically, except art. How can you have a conversation with somebody or do a logical argument if words don't have fixed meanings? They're just pieces in a language game. And yeah, this is the issue of how do we do philosophy after Wittgenstein? The answer is very carefully, and by paying close attention to things like who's in charge and what questions can be asked. I was in New York City.
Ooh, very ominous. Just saying, I think we all know what questions we can and can't ask these days.
Oh no.
City.
What, where on this stall did philosophy
in my heart?
More like who's in New York City, who controls everything.
Oh no, that's not what I meant, but yes. We're not anti-Semitic here, it's just a joke.
Cut this.
I thought it was the Italians.
Oh,
Speak
yes.
for yourself.
You are Semitic, aren't you?
Exactly.
Oh, well, then we've got a...
Nobody's more anti-Semitic than the Jews.
On my 26th birthday, 26 years to the day since the Lesbian Avengers marched on Washington, and I walked past the Stonewall Inn. And I clearly remember thinking, was this really done for me?
No.
No.
No, it was not done for you. Shut up. Go away.
Sucking your own dick.
Can you imagine walking past a site where a major historical event happened that was very high emotion, was like a basis for a lot of kind of reorganizing of the rights movements and kind of talking about it, things like that, and walking by it and being like, this was for me.
Yeah. I love going to the fucking Vietnam Memorial and just
They died for me.
Can I try to
walking
do
past-
some good faith Gary here? Can
Yeah,
I
go
try?
for it.
Go ahead.
I think like obviously he's wording it extremely poorly, but like the idea of like, oh well, like they stood up for this stuff for people like me in the future.
Yes,
They knew they were good.
Sure, I guess the weird
Now, admittedly,
straight guy.
the way that he fucking said this. Oh, did they do this for me?
Yeah.
Am I the most important person in this story?
It doesn't help that throughout the rest of this video he's been very humble and selfless.
I will say, Stonewall.
Am I the
Stonewall
main
didn't.
character?
Yeah, am I the main character? I
Am
was
I
like,
Contra? No.
Stonewall, the event didn't happen with like thoughts and minds of people like, we are going to change the course of history and change American views on us as people. Like it was like just kind of a spur of the moment kind of thing. But what happened after it is really what he should be being like, that was for me. Because that was for you, I guess.
Close enough.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go to the Alamo and just like touch my own like chest and just be like,
be like,
"Oh, this was for me,
my heart, my
for
foot,
little old
Man,
Campbell."
they killed all these Mexicans for me.
for me.
Wish she killed more.
Well, that was there. Oh.
Right.
I was straight for so long, and I developed my style and my ways of speaking in environments where straight was the presumed default. I'm very what they call straight passing. I'm such a terrible queer that I didn't even know what voguing was until somebody told me, and I learned.
What is
Hey.
voguing?
Voguing, it's like the Madonna dance, like the boxing
Ew.
you're facing, but or like kind of like it's a style of dancing, popping. There's lots of popping involved. Your
Yeah.
shoulders, and your
Popping
elbows.
and
But
walking.
Great passing. I'm sorry. I just
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
No,
stuck.
yeah.
I'm like
That didn't last long, is what I'm gonna say.
I'm sorry, but like all of like this person's future endeavors aside, like Danimal, like you're gay, right? But like, is you being gay a significant part of how you carry yourself or how you interact with people, or like a pivotal point of your personality?
no, not really.
That's the thing. So like when I hear terms like, oh, I'm straight pass, what the fuck does that mean? Like, oh, I could pass as a straight person? Most people, just in general, don't like carry themselves in a particular way because of their quote sexual preference. And if they do, that's a stereotype, often a negative one.
Yeah, well, he just made a stereotype. He's like, I didn't even know what voguing was. I'm just like,
Think most of it gay people do? Maybe they do.
I guess. Like, what the fuck was that supposed to mean? Like, it just. It's so funny that this thing is called an aesthetic, because that seems to be how he views.
Imagine thinking you might
these
be
terms.
queer, but like thinking you're just like a normal person, and like finding out that this guy speaks on behalf for you.
Oh, that was a comic we read last time. Just saying.
Damn it!
In the most straight way possible by watching a documentary and writing notes. Even when I started to suspect that I might be deviant, most of the examples of bisexuals I could find online were American women, people like Marina Watanabe.
Oh, you're a deviant.
When my good friend Harry came out as bi on YouTube, I felt incredibly validated, because if bisexual meant somebody like him.
Ew, bisexual means somebody like H-Bomber guy.
Oh, God.
Like the missing link between, I don't know, the Habsburgs and the rest of the human species.
It's just because of his blurred out blue shirt, and like it kind of goes with the background. It just looks like he has a really long neck. He's like a worm coming up from the bottom.
I don't like that it accentuates his big fucking alien eyes.
Yeah,
He looks.
he's got an unfortunate hairline too.
If you were to go to the
Kind
dictionary,
of a white nationalist haircut.
if you were going to go to the dictionary and look up the word sickly, you would just find his picture instead of a definite definition.
Teddy, come on.
So I take offense to that.
So mean to this poor man.
I was gonna say I take offense to that white nationalist haircut meme just because look, Richard Spencer's fucking side fade is much better than this. Okay,
that's actually
he has style.
He's also much gayer than H Bomber guy.
The fact that I'm kind of a public figure now adds an extra dimension of challenge. It's not like I can hide it. If I'm dating men, then sooner or later someone's going to find my Tinder profile and post screenshots.
Philosophy
on Twitter,
Tube ever
so
dated a man?
might as well just come out now. And the advice from
do
some
you
of my
want
queer
the
friends
real
was,
answer, or do you want a
okay, I guess.
no,
Yeah,
don't do that.
that was a that was walking into a minefield. I didn't even read the signs.
Oh no.
Yeah, let's not.
Oh, you're just like in our third reading.
All right.
Can I just point out the irony of H Bomber guy with like the tagline underneath, like Lovecraft, while looking like literally something out of
Lovecraft.
Yeah. I'm not saying he's from Innsmouth, but
You know what's missing in this scene, and you know he wanted to get this, but he didn't want to actually pay for it. Heart-shaped bed.
A heart-shaped bed.
Oh yeah,
that would have fit
I don't
this.
know.
Yeah, like
It's like a BDSM dungeon. It's weird. I don't like it. All right, let's.
Well, that would come later.
be careful what you come out as. Because after this video, somebody's going to update my Wikipedia page, and the language games that people play using my name are going to change forever. There go my chances of becoming...
Oh my god.
Soon everyone's calling you.
Yep.
Sorry.
Oh, just what the future holds for this person.
Look, people have been called a fat in the past, and they'll call people that in the future. You'll survive.
We can't keep the F words in. Cobb's gonna bleep those.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
Well, we can let
I
them out
slipped
now.
an N-word in.
Yeah.
What are we gonna? Do I have to make the joke?
What's the joke, Apples?
Go for
Is
it.
Philosophy's Tube entire bisexual experience him swallowing his own cum?
Whoa.
You know what
Wow.
I say? You know what
That
I
has
say to that?
layers. Okay.
Yeah, you never ask a woman to do a job that you can't do yourself. All right.
It's getting a little steamy.
It's getting a little bit YouTube red.
Let's go. Let's go.
Pope. I don't know why I care. I legitimately care that I cannot be the head of the Catholic Church now, and I don't know why I care. Should I even have come out at all, or should I just act like it's no big deal? Since I do date women, I could, if I wanted to, just blend in and go back to wistfully looking at hot guys on the train. So, by coming out and dating men, I am bisexual, but I'm choosing to be seen as queer, and that's a choice that I'm very lucky to be able to make. And if I had only read some queer theory, I would have learned that so many people before me had been asking all the same questions.
Gabbles, did you ask those questions?
No, not really, but I did own a similar jacket.
Oh, did you? What's the is this pretty descriptive of your bi experience?
No, not really. I just because they both always seemed kind of nice. I don't know. I didn't have an epiphany at 27 that like guys were also hot. That was a thing since like teenage years. Yeah.
Well, what if you were 27 and you needed more attention for your YouTube channel?
Wow. Flamenco, I think.
Yes.
Oh, shit. Oh, well, shit. Maybe I should be taking notes then.
Yeah, you gotta come out as straight and then bi later.
Shoot. I've already done it in the wrong order.
You did it in the
Can I
wrong
go
order.
to straight now?
No, you got to go straight to non-binary, you idiot. That's the next step.
Oh yeah.
Give me time.
An asexual, demisexual.
Non-binaries are
bi.
easy, so it's a good starting point.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, just get a bad haircut.
Oh no.
I mean, I already fucking primarily do the Geralt voice, so I mean, I can do it. I can make it
Yeah.
work.
We believe in
You already
you.
got the cred.
The Lesbian Avengers became hugely popular.
No,
Did
didn't.
they?
Did they?
Did they really?
As opposed to the East
Oh,
Coast
hold on.
Avengers.
I got the extra notes here. The Lesbian Avengers became hugely popular in my head and lived there for rent and free for years.
I've always
Yes.
wanted
I
to
think-
be a part of the Lesbian Avengers.
No, for minutes.
You know what? I actually okay. So I am a person with pictures on a corkboard and string attaching them at this moment.
Uh-huh.
But I think that he just typed in queer lesbian march and found this Lesbian Avengers group before, like, months before he started writing this video, because that's the like last article I can find about the Lesbian Avengers that isn't just off their website. It's like a big thing on like Them magazine in 2019 when this video was made.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking, is that he just read an article about this and he was like, "Wow, I'm gonna put that in my video."
You're accusing philosophy tube of being surface level.
Yes.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Shocked and appalled.
Imagine my shock.
Well, imagine my shock.
Oh, we can't do that anymore. Did he have a like a Richard Spencer style?
He did, kind of, yeah.
Oh,
Kind of. It wasn't like him going on an insane, like, racist Judge Doom style rant, but it was basically him dropping a bunch of N-words while drunk.
Oh, well.
Yeah, it was super
Nice.
drunk. I don't know how
Which
much
is kind of just yeah, it's weird.
So it's more of a Mel Gibson than a Richard Spencer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
They were young, they were funny, they were sexy. They weren't just doing stylish activism, they were doing style as activism. And queer academics and the mainstream media jumped on it. But it turned out it was a double-edged sword. For one thing, comedy is subjective, and the purpose of edgy
As we've all learned from this video.
Mm-hmm.
Incredibly subjective.
comedy is to gesture at the thing that you can't really say. So they were always at risk of being misinterpreted by the mainstream or cancelled by their own side. Thank God we didn't have Twitter in 1992, it would have been a disaster. But also, by changing the meaning of what it meant to be a lesbian in public, they kind of accidentally made lesbianism cool. A lot of articles about the Avengers mentioned their appearance and their clothing choices, how hot and funny and cool they were, without really talking about their...
Like 4 articles.
I mean,
Around all of them articles at the time.
If I'm gonna use 4 words to describe lesbians, I don't think hot, funny, and cool are 3 of them.
It depends on man. You got some normal ones that don't
Well-
give a shit about any of this political lesbianism shit.
Well, yeah, but they're not gonna be the ones in a center page, you know.
Yeah. I
Look,
guess
we
so.
all just need to bring out the hot crazy matrix, and this will solve all these problems. It'll explain everything.
Story was funny.
their political goals all that much. And starting around 1993, a new trend emerged in fashion and advertising called lesbian chic.
Like that one Newsweek article, it just says lesbians.
Lesbians.
That covers so good.
Lesbian bed
Lesbians.
death, the real story.
Lesbians, are they real? Can they hurt you?
So you want to be a lesbian?
Oh my god. Oh, that's gonna be the Blue Bear's next comic.
Yeah,
Oh,
I tried that program. Really overexpensive.
I like the if you look at the cover on the left and the right hand side, you'll see Gyne Addiction. Which
Kinky sex made simple. Trucker wallets, tattoos, baseball caps, and other important accessories.
The great lesbian haircuts and conspiracy.
I didn't know they were such Incubus fans.
Shout out
to
to the
study-
2 people in the audience who will get that.
Yeah.
To study for and pass your lesbian aptitude test.
All right.
The most famous examples were this cover of New York Magazine and this issue of Vanity Fair, in which supermodel Cindy Crawford pretends to shave singer-songwriter K.D. Lang, who is dressed like a man. The pop culture attention to lesbians smacks of zoo-going, an outing to view the latest kind of exotic...
Do you see the title of the book that this is from, or the article? The We Love Lesbians, or do we? Hot subculture, or just new hurtful stereotypes. Washington Post has been doing this shit for years, man.
oh yeah.
I agree. Lesbians should never be hot.
Have
on
they
display.
ever?
Yeah.
Oh, poor lesbians. I'm sorry.
Said the Washington Post in 1993, though at least in most zoos you aren't also encouraged to find the animals fuckable. This was happening just 1 year after.
Well,
Maybe for
I
you.
mean, yeah,
Depending.
but Sappho. I mean, it's,
Look, is it bad that the only lesbians I found who were pretty hot also ended up being bisexual women?
you know what? Female sexuality is more fluid.
Yeah.
It's true,
Mhm.
right, Goff?
Yes.
There's a lot more fluids, that's for
Correct.
sure.
Well, yeah, I know it's pretty late in the video, but we were talking before stream. There is a Sappho update because last time we did a Sappho update, it was to say that they came out as a pedophile,
Oh,
Oh
no.
boy.
God.
and there's a new update, Goff.
Oh boy.
Yeah, apparently they went to a psych ward. And
Yeah.
after going to the psych ward, they reported that they are now cured of pedophilia and being a furry. And being a zoophile.
Oh, okay. So
There's
they haven't
still
made a
hope.
full, clean.
And they've gone
Sure.
ghost, I guess, online,
Yeah, I
right?
think they've disappeared.
Okay.
You know
I wish
what? That's
they'd-
for the best.
Probably.
I'm happy for them. Please
Yeah.
get help.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, I'm not chiding at all. Like, yeah, you definitely needed professional help, and it sounds like you got it. Assuming that I'm going to take it on faith that that's all true.
I like
funny.
to believe that. I like
Yeah.
to believe happy things.
I mean, I wouldn't. I don't think that they'd be lying about that.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's a Sappho update. Ba-bum-bum-bum-bum.
The turnaround's a
Come
little
on,
bit
come
too
on, I
quick
have one.
for
I have one. I
my.
have one. I have one.
Oh god.
Sappho really should have gone ghost in real life.
No,
Boo.
boo.
Do not do
Man.
that.
What?
Disavow, disavow.
Look. She has enormous amounts of problems, but the solution to the mentally ill is not to go all 1950s on them.
Right. Yeah.
She's touched.
You
a lot
already
of
have
kids'
enough
hearts.
lobotomites.
And the other solution, the other solution is not to go back to the Aztec eras where we drill holes in people's skull.
Oh,
Oh.
Trepidation.
Trepidation.
Yeah,
Trepanning.
trepanning. That's it. Yeah.
After a lesbian in Oregon was burned to death in a hate crime, and the government was still largely ignoring the AIDS crisis. In the same year as that.
Yeah, a lesbian woman was burned to death in a hate crime in Oregon. Why didn't you mention the bi guy that was also burned to death there? Come on, man.
By
Erasure.
erasure.
Bi erasure.
Well,
That's
well,
my
He was a
well.
black.
bitch.
He was a black bi man too.
Oh,
He,
yeah.
Totally.
he really
Nothing.
was a BIPOC.
He really was a BIPOC.
Ooh.
Erasing racial
That's so bad.
philosophy too.
Very
doing that.
strange. It's a little weird champ philosophy too.
That Vanity Fair issue, a transgender man named Brandon Teena was murdered in Nebraska along with two of his friends. The killers, one of whom was a white supremacist, wrongly thought that Brandon was a woman, and his friend Philip Devine was black and disabled. So, at a time when a lot of queerphobic violence was going on, queer activists were getting more attention, but the best the media could really do.
It's not. They weren't queer activists. They were gay, lesbian, and bi activists.
I mean, the
And call themselves
personal is
queer.
political. Personal is political. Whatever you do in the bedroom, that's how you vote. How you feel politically. Come on.
Right. Yeah, it has to dictate what you think.
Queer theory is backwards compatible.
Yeah,
It's
it
just
is.
everything in the
You can
past that was
retro-
gay, you can just call queer now.
Even things
Oh,
that
it's-
weren't gay, even things that weren't queer, you could call queer these days. You can
Exactly.
retroactively fit anything to suit any kind of agenda.
Queer the history.
Isn't it wonderful?
I'm not saying Pangaea was completely straight, but I mean, come on, look at it.
Attila the Hun, did you see those shield tassels?
Was, hey, lesbians are hot now. None of that, by the way, was the Lesbian Avengers' fault. They weren't using bad tactics or anything. They just didn't own them.
He used bad tactics.
Yeah, they did.
Bad
use
tactics,
buddy.
eh?
Yeah, getting in a bed in the middle of the Pride Parade and fucking was kind of a bad tactic, and the reason that the group fell apart.
Not a good optics move.
Yeah,
That's
It's-
not very. It's not very smart decision.
yeah.
But it's not their fault.
No, it's not their fault. It's heteronormative society.
Society, man.
I'm not a part of your system.
Throw those lesbians on the ground.
That there's a terrible joke. No, not doing it. We're not doing that. please.
media. I'm contractually obligated by George Soros to mention Marxism at least once per video. So this is kind of an example of what Marx called commodity fetish.
Hey, how is literally any socialist country or union ever treated gay people?
What gay people? There were never any gay people in the Soviet Union or the glorious
Here's the
People's
thing.
Republic.
Here's the thing.
No, there was. They just labeled them fascists and jailed them.
Here's
Suddenly
the thing. They
disappeared.
often start off saying, oh, we're going to treat you better. We're going to give you rights and blah, blah, blah. And then slowly, as the totalitarian government takes over, they're like, you know what? This whole like gay thing doesn't really make babies or
It's
reinforce
not.
the
It's
family
very
unit. So we're gonna put a kibosh on that.
It's very counter-revolutionary, Tavarish.
So that's what happened in Russia. That's what happened in China. What's happening in China?
It was a tactic that the Bolsheviks used to their advantage when they would take, especially on the countryside, they would gather all the undesirables and people at the bottom of society and get them intentionally pissed off at people who were higher than them or wealthier than them or whatever. And that's what they would use as a sort of guard or a front. And then once those people overthrew the people they saw as their oppressors, they would just get thrown in work camps or shot, whether you were gay, a drunk, any kind of minority group or outcast person. And then once people like Stalin or Mao Zedong come into power, they essentially go back to treating them like outcasts and, having them sent to work camps, killed, run out of town.
Yeah, when your use as a tool to them is done, they throw you away.
Pretty much.
It's not even like with the guy after, like with the Cuban Revolution and Che Guevara in Bolivia, they both just threw them right under the bus.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep, I think it was either Castro or Guevara who forced homosexual men to work in labor camps on the grounds they would make them real men.
I think it was Castro.
I think it was both, though.
I'm not sure how involved Che Guevara was in a lot of that stuff. He was definitely involved in the revolution and that kind of thing. I think he was off trying to foment other revolutions at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely executed people.
There's a lot of disappearing in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Che didn't want to actually get involved with the running of the country, just the revolution. So.
Yeah, just the revolution part.
Yeah, pretty much. Very swanky labor camps over there in Cuba.
Sure, the Castros are billionaires.
The social, political, and economic realities behind words like gay, straight, bi, and trans get swapped out for products, fashion, music, drag race. And we forget that these words
philosophy tube.
Can also be used in language games about making the world a better place.
Ronald Reagan, could he be bothered to mention HIV/AIDS? No.
Nope.
But he could be bothered to put some gel in his hair, and I just feel like that is a thing.
Like a lot of advertising.
What?
So
he used Brill cream. No, literally.
Really?
He literally did use he was famous for his use of Brill cream, even during his presidency. After that whole haircut, the whole idea had just had.
Yeah.
Wasn't he a spokesman for him? Because he was an advertising guy for a while, like a model.
He was an actor, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
of course.
He starred alongside a chimpanzee in one movie.
Yes, he did.
Yep.
Well, me and mommy are gonna go act with this orangutan.
That's not a very nice way to talk about George W. Bush.
Aww. That was funny. Yeah, right. He did kind of look like a monkey, didn't he?
Yeah.
You know who else looks like a monkey?
No. Well, whoa.
Trends. Lesbian chic was mainly aimed at young people with money, mainly progressive, white, and living in cities. So other ways of being queer that didn't fit that mold got left out. And some queer theorists worried that young people growing up would see this and think that they had to look that way in order to be authentic.
So you're saying that lesbian chic was basically Will and Grace?
Let's not Will and Grace.
Not a bad show. It's not even.
I like that show.
It's funny.
I'm indifferent. It's okay. When I was a kid, all my gay jokes came from watching reruns of The Nanny.
Another great show.
Which is exactly what I was worried about before I came out. When I finally admitted to myself that I was capable of being attracted to men, I felt a sudden inexplicable need to change the way I dress.
Oh, God.
Burton
Why?
blue suit, John Lewis shirt and black tie, straight. Gresham Blake purple suit, John Lewis shirt and black tie with black Ted Baker shoes, also straight.
I'm
Dispute.
just thinking the vibe is
Dispute.
probably
Okay.
too big.
Yeah.
So, suit number 1, businessman. Suit number 2, special event. Suit number 3, it's 2 a.m. at
Christmas
your local
party.
dive bar. And this man
It's-
just lost a divorce.
So let's see what philosophy tube is doing
He's
here.
just
So the
looking
two
for
straight
anything.
options. Yeah, the two straight options, very well groomed, good lines. You know, definitely a type of suit that you would wear. Let's see what he thinks the bi and the gay options are. Are they going to be disheveled and kind of gross?
Suit, John Lewis shirt and black tie with silver shoes and rings, bisexual.
This is
Vintage
what
leather
it says.
jacket, blue jeans, and Primark white shirt with black.
Tuck your
Yeah.
shirt in. Bring a
That's-
jacket that short. Tuck your shirt in.
Yeah, that's not very straight.
Just do it.
That's
That's
not
not very
straight.
straight
That's
at all.
more wanting to be butch.
Yeah, this looks like something that a butch lesbian would wear in like the 80s.
If you had a longer cut fucking jacket, then it'd be straight, but no.
It'd be straight, but plenty of gays still wear the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like a
Has
Tom
he
of
never
Finland
fucking
jacket.
has he never seen any sort of like, I don't know, Tom of Finland or
Yeah.
or anything?
Exactly.
Fuck
That's
this
what I was
retard.
thinking. It's like leather daddy.
Shirt with black combat boots, straight. Vintage leather jacket, pink shirt, and black jeans with New Rock cowboy boots, bisexual. Flannel shirt that I stole from my ex.
British
Stole
people
from
should
my
not be
ex.
allowed to wear
This
cowboy
is-
boots. I'm sorry, just
This
stop.
is cool.
Flannel shirt.
On
Oh,
your
this is
ex.
lesbian.
And
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is lesbian.
That's what I
Strong
dress
lesbian.
like.
I was
own a
gonna
flannel
say,
shirt.
if you
Yeah.
stole that from
Okay.
your ex, I think she was ahead of you on some things.
Flannel shirt that I stole from my ex with Bloomingdale's cardigan, also straight. Flannel shirt that I stole from my ex, Bloomingdale's cardigan, and blue Ted Baker shorts with New Rock cowboy boots, bisexual.
That's
Could be
true.
Wait,
anything.
what?
Could be anything. Calvin Klein black trunks with pink.
Oh god. I paused on this for all you guys.
Why did you do such a thing?
Why?
Look at that. Yeah.
Wait,
The
Rocking
pink
it.
band.
what was the point of
Waist
this
back.
again? I can't remember.
The
He
point
needed
point is
an
Adam.
excuse to show off his Tinder pics. Okay.
because he said when he realized he was bi, he wanted to dress more flamboyantly.
Okay.
Which makes
And yet
I
he's-
believe you.
Every single one of these examples that he's given us, though, he's claimed it's straight. It's not, by the way. But
Yeah, he said a few bi ones in there.
I don't even think some of the ones he said were bi.
Yeah,
Five.
They were just.
I'm not
they
even
were
a
awful.
fashion guy. I don't fucking know anything about this.
Look, wearing a cardigan is pretty fucking gay. So
I was gonna say,
Hey,
when he
come
put
on, I
that
wear a lot
flannel
of
shirt
cardigans.
over that
Cardigans
what?
are not gay. Come on.
Yeah, they are.
Cardigans
Kinda.
Are they?
they kind of.
No.
They're gay.
Maybe.
I'm not gonna wear a
Pair
cardigan.
a
because
cardigan
they're
with a
gay.
scarf and you're instantly gay. You like turn
Okay,
gay.
yeah.
But basically, this is just low key him saying that sexuality is an aesthetic.
Oh yeah.
He doesn't
I was
realize
gonna say,
Wow, how
what was the
compelling.
one where he? What was the one where he took like the fucking flannel? Was it the flannel with the cardigan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like the gayest shit I think I'd seen him in.
That's how I
That's
dress.
pretty fucking.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah. You're proving the point.
Yeah. Oh well.
Band, definitely bisexual. The fact that some of these looks seem bisexual to me is because they're part of fashion games that I've seen other people playing. There's nothing about these looks that is
So you're not an individual. Just copying other people. Isn't that what you're saying?
Hmm?
Oh no.
E.T.
Huh?
copying people? Nah.
What?
Oh, wow.
Come now, what are you talking? Are you saying there's he's doing something with this artsy fartsy purple and pink, purple and blue fucking lighting and the Art Deco fucking backgrounds?
To be fair, it's not Art Deco.
Well, I know.
No, it's
I
a
just-
Deco. It's like Victorian, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pseudo Victorian.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's see. Transcendental bisexual.
ransomly bisexual. What's interesting is that a lot of the discussions the 90s activists were having about the pros and cons of suddenly getting a lot more representation are being had again now by trans and non-binary people.
Oh, and the conversation didn't matter then. It doesn't matter now.
But it is true.
Not so long ago, if a trans or an NB person was in the news, it's because they were the butt of a joke, but they were dead. But now,
Or rape someone.
Oh my god.
Seen that a couple times.
Now, they can be anything. Beautiful, talented, funny, as long as it sells. But that's not an option that's available to everybody. And also
Was
being cool and
fucking
marketable
one of
isn't the
those
same thing as
Rebecca
having-
Sugar.
Maybe.
God, I
Who?
can't stand her.
We
She made
could-
Steven Universe.
Yeah, we could do a video
Oh,
on Rebecca Sugar one
God.
day.
We
Maybe.
should.
It's fun.
Steven
I would
Universe
be
in
there for
general.
that. I would be there for that because that shit is awful.
There's
Good,
gotta
good.
be like really terrible Steven Universe video essays out there, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
sure.
Yeah.
All right, all of you have your marching orders. You got your mission for the next week.
Wait a second. I don't like where this is going.
Right. The twist this time is that whereas it seems to have been fairly easy to sell lesbians as women who are just really horny, some straight cis people have hang-ups about dating a trans person. Now, I'm one of the lads. You know, I've got a penis. I've been to Nando's at least twice. I date women, including trans women.
What?
Now, isn't that an interesting set of events?
Oh god.
We keep
Did he,
flashing-
did he,
we
ris-
keep
did
flashing
he
forward.
misplace some consonants there? Like an R and a P?
Speaking of non sequiturs, that was kind of a non sequitur that just happened, where he's talking about lesbians and then shifts to straight people not necessarily being sexually attracted to a trans person.
Yeah.
I don't understand the connections there.
That's really provocative, really suggestive, really interesting.
Mhm.
Rusty, if you're watching this, I want you to know I am here for you.
Like, why is he putting those two things together as if they are similar?
Hey, quick
Anyway.
question.
Really
what
unfortunate.
rhymes with date and has something to do with philosophy tube and ContraPoints?
That's allegations. I don't know. Lawyers know that this is all allegations.
Because I was going to go with date, like the fruit.
Oh, okay.
Because they're fruity, you know.
And some of the straight lads might raise an eyebrow at that last part, even straight lads who say they support trans rights, because of a kind of commodity fetishism of dick. Sorry, I mean, commodity?
No, it has
No.
nothing to do with that. It's because I don't want to date someone who potentially has a cock. I don't want to settle down with somebody who I can't have kids with naturally. I'm not attracted to somebody if they're a male to female trans person. I'm sorry. It's nothing to do with commodifying fetish or whatever the fuck.
Whatever those
Seems,
two $5 words mean.
Yeah. It seems often people who do date trans women are the ones engaging in commodity fetishism.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
There's some of that.
Yeah, there definitely is, but I don't know. I try not to judge people's relationships.
Some straight people might raise an eyebrow at this because it's because they don't want to date trans people. Period.
It's because surprisingly sexual orientation has something to do with sex. Shocking, I know.
Lies.
I was gonna
Lies.
say.
Inception.
Not called gender orientation.
Wow.
Wow.
Fetishism of dick. You know when it's just you and Blagars and Strudels and Dickskin hanging out being lads, and then Big Dave comes in, he's like, oi lads, let's go into the cheeky Nando's. Lads. So you're all going down Nando's, getting Nando's on, and while you're waiting for the chips, it's Ben lad goes, oi lad, how's that bird you've been smashing? And you go, bird's really great, smashed like a dream, gave her a cheeky finger behind the sports hall the other day. By the way, she's transgender.
If you tell a joke, you got to cut it to like 15 seconds. Can't drag it on that much. Come on now. Less than that even.
Yeah, especially when you're trying to be big, fast, fucking British man.
Yeah.
It would also be really appreciated if you could tell a joke in a language that we could understand.
Yeah.
Instead of
I
like
think
this
that's
weird.
Too much
this-
from a Brit, okay?
Oi.
With my,
That's too much.
with my chicken Nando's in it.
Finger banged this girl.
With my
Oh.
finger bang this
Actually,
cheeky bit.
All right.
Actually, now that I think about it, if I was in that friend group, I'd be like, dude, we ain't sharing shit then. You keep your fucking nasty fingers away from me. All right, you motherfucker.
Hi.
Piri Piri or lemon and herb? Straight cis lads who date trans women can be shamed and bullied by other straight cis lads who think that that's gay. So it's like transphobia, but indirectly, but they think it's homophobia, but it's affecting a straight person. So allow me.
Is it? I mean, who cares? Like, is that really happening? Like, where people are bullying people who are dating trans people, be like, "Bro, you gay?"
I've told a few people that I've had I have a trans girlfriend. I've told many of you, and I haven't had any real problems with it. Or anything like that. Yeah.
In certain friend groups, I'm sure it's got to be like very
But
controversial.
Yeah, it's true.
I was
I
gonna
keep
say the
forgetting
joke.
that.
The closest joke I can think of amongst my straight friends on like a topic like this is that like if you dated a trans woman as a straight guy, you probably weren't exactly straight.
Yeah, but does that like who cares?
Yeah, then we're just arguing definitions.
It's more like at that point, like when I say that, I mean like it's more heckling.
Yeah.
Like oh yeah, I slept with this one girl. She's like a trans girl. And it's like, and it's the immediate next joke is, "You sure you're straight?"
Yeah, this sounds like friendly ribbing that happens.
Yeah.
You know what's kind of unfortunate here, though, is he's coming out as bisexual, so it doesn't really prove his point.
True.
It certainly doesn't help his point later.
Oh no.
Me to present the figure of Alexander the Great, a man who definitely knew what being straight meant, and solve a difficult problem with a single stroke of my mighty sword. Lads, the first time I had sex with a trans girl, it was just like similar experiences with other girls.
Except with
they were all screaming and running out, calling for the cops.
With the lights out and
you know what this reminds me of? This whole thing reminds me of an episode of, was it America's Got Talent years ago? This old man comes up on stage with his little keyboard and he sings a song about how he met this girl and she's just great. There's just one problem. She's got a penis. And everyone just starts like laughing with complete insanity. It's great.
Oh, it's so funny. Yeah, I've seen that clip.
And I know some of the straight lads might be like, well, you know, I find trans women hot and like trans rights and all that, but if she's got a penis, then I don't really know how I feel about that. And that's the commodity fetishism of dick. The lads are thinking about the dick, but they're not really thinking about where it comes from or what it does.
Oh, you don't really want to think about that during sex.
Yeah,
I think they definitely are.
Yeah, that's definitely something they're thinking of.
This is so annoying to listen to. This is like, it's like you said, Cobb. It's like, oh, it turns out that, you know, sex is important to people. Yeah, they're like, yeah, I don't know how I feel about somebody who has a cock when I'm straight because I don't like cock. Funnily enough, the genitals do matter.
Yeah, they kind of do.
Yeah, you know,
Where
the
do they
sexual
come
organs
from?
do play a factor in sex.
Where do
What
they
do
come
they
from?
do?
They come from birth. What do they do? Well, among other things, they can become erect and pee out of
They
them.
can go in you usually.
Yeah, and they can go in
if
you.
want.
Like there are a variety of
Some of
uses.
them bleed, you know, some of those genitals.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
you're supposed
so-
to get that checked.
Yeah, you know, like some of them bleed, and then like an entire generation of doctors think, oh, you know what? They seem a lot more or happy and manageable after they bleed. Maybe the bloodletting's actually good for you. I'm not even joking about that. That was like a history trivia.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we know.
So, as I'm pleased to present my fellow lads with what I call the Wittgensteinian theory of dick. I've had sex with men and with women, including trans women, and I can tell you from experience that the meaning of dick is how it's used. How a trans woman's dick feels.
Oh, do we need to? Do we really need to go into this in detail?
Oh no.
Not that it's gross that it's dick. I mean, obviously I'm gay, but just like it's
still gross.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable to hear somebody else kind of talking about it in this way, I suppose.
Can we just hear his theory and
How it behaves, how they like to be touched, taste, and yes, the mouthfeel is totally different than guy dick. I'm not the first person to point this out on YouTube, but I'm happy to independently confirm that it is in fact true.
Okay,
Whoa.
wait. You know, you told me it was just a rumor.
Okay,
But
I guess it wasn't a rumor.
Notice how the moment he says the mouthfeel of girl dick is different, boom, picture of Contra.
Yeah, you know, I was just
Immediately.
joking before.
Oof.
Yeah, that's a little strange.
I guess it's not allegations. I don't know.
The case is faltering.
Have I told you of there's an article with Philosophy Tube after they came out as trans?
No.
And she said, I talked to a trans friend of mine and told them I was coming out as trans, and they told me, I'm so sorry for you. It's a curse.
Whoa.
That is a very contra thing to say.
And yeah, pretty much everyone thinks that's ContraPoints telling Philosophy Tube this. And then Philosophy Tube goes on to say, oh, it's not a curse, it's a blessing. It's so great. I love being trans. I love being a girl.
And that's when Contra realized this person is a fucking lunatic.
Yeah.
So it's a weird dynamic between these two.
Yeah. Oof.
If you don't believe me, I will also literally cite an academic source. It's a book by Mira Bellwether called Fucking Trans Women. It's also a how-to guide with diagrams. So, lads, put down your Peronis and your DVDs of Top Gear and get stuck.
Fair dues, though. That's a good title.
Oh, yeah. Mm.
Come on. That's a good pun. Who doesn't
Link
like a good
going in the description, buddy.
Whew. Yeah, I'll check it out, sure. Yeah. I'll click that link like I do with Raid Shadow Legends.
Okay. Sometimes I'll suck a guy's dick in a gay way. Sometimes I'll suck a girl's dick in a straight way. I used to think that there was only one meaning of straight, one meaning of bi, one meaning of queer, and that those meanings were somewhere out there in the world with neat little descriptions on them. And the reason I thought that is because until I came out to myself, I was alone in it. I only had myself for reference. But queer has never been a single political trend or a consistent aesthetic. It's always been about family rather than membership. It's always had internal contradictions and ambiguities, and it's that quality of being flexible and full of potential that I think is what makes it radical.
Queer is chaos.
Yeah.
Queer is the chaos demon.
So it doesn't sound like a very stable category to like really throw yourself into, just saying.
Okay,
Yeah.
Tennyson, I need you to do
Maybe
a Jordan
that's-
Peterson voice, like right now.
You know, the queer and the feminine energy combine to form a chaos demon. And out of the belly of the chaos demon come
Is your father?
the chaos emeralds. And so that's why Shadow is black, but yet he calls them disgusting black creatures in the game. And so you have to eliminate the chaos and turn Shadow white, because white is the symbol of
Purity.
order and purity and light. You're shedding light on the chaos of queerness by killing Shadow the Hedgehog. And that's why all the Sonic games are just dog shit.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Peterson.
Thank you.
I'll fucking fight you, Teddy, after this.
That
game is shit, but
yeah, it sure is.
My life, and I don't know what's going to happen. It's pretty scary because there's no plan like there is in straight time, but it's also exciting. I feel like a time lord. I could go anywhere. I could do anything now. Anything could happen to me.
Yeah, you could
Our
regenerate.
identities.
Anything can happen to him.
Okay, I'm sorry. I take issue with the. It's not like there's like some time like there is with straight people. Do you know how many like quote unquote lost millennials there are, who are in their 30s? They don't have a house. They don't have a mortgage. They don't even have girlfriends. They feel lost and like completely aimless. Like, this is what this guy was describing at the beginning of this video, is that he was like, I realized that like by the time I was this age, my parents were already married. Yeah, a lot of people feel that. It had nothing to do with being gay.
Are you saying that all those men might be queer, actually? I think that's what you're saying.
Okay,
You know,
actually, we're getting to some queer theory here, actually.
Yeah,
Finally.
Let's see what's going on.
Wait, I just want to say I do agree. He is like the Time Lord. He is like the Doctor, especially now the 13th Doctor.
Yeah. He was extremely unpopular. I got canceled mid-season.
Yeah.
Or do you mean like how the next Doctor is going to be black?
Oh,
transracialism on the horizon.
You know what?
Oh, wow.
You know what? That's the next step for PT.
Oh, transracial.
Oh my
There's black.
New frontier.
You know what? Let's talk about the discursive discourse of constructing race.
Right.
Let's talk about race non-essentialism. Okay,
Let's
what do we have there?
No,
Here's
we're
one of
not.
the facts.
This is going to take too long. We're not doing that.
6 million years ago on the island of Patmos,
What's
the
this,
evil Dr. Yaku created the white race.
No.
Let's do this.
What did Mr. Farrakhan get here?
I would fucking pay to see philosophy to turn into a full-on Yakubian.
Oh, that'd be great.
Oh, no.
All right, what's this queer theory?
That'd be beautiful.
Let's read this real quick. So,
I'm assuming you'll read it.
yeah, let's see.
How we recognize ourselves and are recognized by others is a complex construction, an articulation of historical demands on an already discursively mapped body. The most deeply experienced and personal sense of individuality and interiority is always, already, social.
Also,
What
hey there,
on earth
Contra.
does that mean?
I don't know. Let's back it
I'm
up.
not sure what that's supposed to mean.
Real quick.
Also, hey there, Contra.
Hi, Contra.
Hey, Contra.
How do you think Contra feels about appearing in this video at that
Oh
moment?
man. Our
Quietly writing
identity.
up a restraining order, I imagine.
Oh yeah.
I hope so.
Oh.
If she
Like
hasn't
being
already.
the witness at a trial, probably.
She's a smart cookie. She knows to get that shit pre-done.
Our identities, how we recognize ourselves and are recognized by others, is a complex construction, an articulation of historical demands on an already discursively mapped body.
So who we are is
Most
complex.
deeply
It's made up of how other people see us and how we see ourselves.
Yeah, and
Well,
what we
there's
the thing that
there's a
what we
few
call
things.
ourselves is also rooted in historical moments that preceded and will come after it. I guess it's sort of historicity as well.
So
Okay. So
basically,
how
it's
history
saying that.
Genealogy.
What's
I was
that,
gonna
Rick?
say so. I was gonna say so. Basically, here's what I'm reading from this, because this looks like it's from an actual paper, which means thank God I can actually think and actually digest this. But I'm assuming is that they're saying that there's the perception of ourselves that we have of who we are. There is the perception other people give us, and then there's things that we're expected to do because of societal norms that have been formed through whatever forms of historical context.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think this quote is getting on about, because it's the most, actually sane and rational way to digest this, because it was seemingly made by somebody who had actual brain cells in their head.
Well, but how about the second part? The most deeply experienced and personal sense of individuality and interiority is always already social. That doesn't ring true.
That's false. But I mean, it seems like it's blatantly saying that our individuality is based on how we feel socially.
It's a social construct.
I don't
Yeah,
even
well,
know if it's
I think what he's saying is just a reformulation of the idea that the personal is political, or that the personal, the private. Ultimately, this is saying the private doesn't exist because the person's individuality and what they think about themselves is influenced by historical events and also by the world around them, which is kind of true, but also it isn't entirely a be all end all.
Yeah, it's not the entire explanation.
It seems to be implying that second sentence seems to be implying that our personalities are shaped by what society and others at large view us as.
And
Which-
here's the
I just
part
don't.
that doesn't work, right? Because this whole argument is suggesting, like, okay, the individual is sort of a construct that's seated in a social web, right? And that your interaction with others and your perception from others and history and all that is what generates the individual. It's kind of the bigger picture here. But that does not
Yeah.
fit with their sense of, say, something like gender identity. Because
Right.
a lot of the time they'll say, like, gender identity is inherent and it's something that only the individual can see for themselves.
Yeah, whereas
when in
this
reality,
sentence,
the fact that you are male, right? It's something that you see about yourself, but also society sees about you, other people see about you, and and the fact that you were in a culture where male and female are recognized and recognizable is the reason you even have that category, that work.
if you divorce this sentence from the idea of it being a queer theory thing, this would actually track a lot more with like the idea of like, people can be put into boxes that others devise for
Oh
them,
yeah.
such as
Yeah.
being a social outcast or becoming a nerd or something like that. Could be a identity imposed on you by the perceptions that others have of you. And I guess that's what this is trying to say, is queer is just like that, but I don't like, that's the problem. Like these two sentences are already so lofty and like just steeped in like idealism that I don't know exactly what I'm supposed to take away from it. This is also kind of why it's dumb. They just grab quotes that you think help you in your video and just put them here with no context of the larger work of from the larger body of work.
I know.
Because this person could mean anything from this quote. I need like larger context to understand this.
I think there's like this big disconnect between the descriptive and prescriptive claims of sort of this big social construction argument. Because here you can see the social construction argument is like the individual is a social construct. It's made up of all these things. I don't see how that could possibly connect to the idea that therefore we should change the social construct. That we should change how people are recognized by others and how we recognize ourselves and how history recognizes. Where do you get the grounding to say that one way of viewing people is good and one way of viewing people is bad? Beyond just like hurt feelings, but it doesn't count for everything. They only really count this in gender. They don't count it in anything else. Like we already alluded to, you can't do it with race. You can't be like, I feel black. If they don't care if your feelings are hurt, they're going to say, no, you're not. So there's just no moral grounding here. They just sort of make it up.
Are you saying that they're just kind of making it up as they go along?
Yeah, I'm saying that.
Oh, no.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
I'm just like making up the mouthfeel of girl dick.
Oh, God. All right, let's push through. We don't have much more to go.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh, wait.
No.
You're a third musical number? Oh,
There's
no.
another musical number.
Wait. Are you just gonna end the video like that then? Because there's what, like 3 minutes left? This stupid musical number has got to be like what, at least 2 minutes of that?
Let's see.
Come on, every other musical number was 5 minutes.
Oh my god!
Let's see. Hang on. Oh yeah, it's still going. That's a minute. Let's see another minute. Oh, here we go. Oh, it's still going.
Oh,
Let's see if there's like a Marvel stinger at the end. Oh, probably not. It just shows the PT and the mom drag again and just be like spoon. It's like Marvel stinger.
Okay.
This is real coming out.
I am actually pissed because that means he just ended on a quote thinking that it sounded all deep and smart and all this stuff, and instead all you do is sit here and question, what does this fucking mean? He provided no larger context
because he's not smart enough to. He's not smart enough to.
He's
That's
like, you know
why.
what this video needs? Another musical number focused on me.
Yeah. Sight and
Oh
Sound.
my
Sight
god!
and Sound said this was
Best-
number
You
one.
did it! You
Number
wanted
one.
to be in Broadway.
We did it.
Look, life doesn't always happen.
What an empty video.
Oh, that was
Yeah,
terrible.
very much. Has
That was
nothing to do
terrible.
with queer theory, even.
No,
We
it
got
didn't
one
at
quote
all.
total
Yeah, one
It's
quote.
just-
text.
It's
Most of the
literally-
video was justifying using the word queer.
Yep.
And then the rest was like, hey, I'm bisexual, actually.
Yeah.
And have you heard of the Lesbian Avengers?
Yeah.
Oh.
Ba-na-na-na-na.
Honestly,
X-Men.
That's
if I
X-Men.
hear the words
whatever.
lesbian Avengers, my mind immediately goes to like porn stars dressed up as Marvel characters.
Ooh.
Yeah, that would be a much better spin-off, honestly.
That
You've got
would.
Miss
That
Marvel,
That
you've got
would have
Spider
been number
Woman,
one
you got-
worthy
ooh.
for audio and video.
This was probably the worst slog of a
The
video
sound.
that we ever went through, and we did the whole Shrek is queer video.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. We did do that.
So, any final thoughts? Because let's wrap this turd up.
Ugh. Just like every Philosophy Tube video, it's empty, it's void of content, it's all flash, it's all an excuse to show off.
All style, no
Just
substance.
narcissism condensed.
Yeah.
That's not true.
It
Put
sounds
a lot
like
of lies into that.
What's funny about that is that sounds like my initial impressions of Contra.
Oh, no. I was just
See,
saying, there was
let's
some.
compare. You know,
Contra's good, though.
Contra has some redeeming qualities.
Yeah, like actually looking at her and like some of the stuff
She's-
that she said.
she's
It's like,
Actually,
funny.
like looking at her.
Look, she's funny.
I
She's
agree.
legitimately funny.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she can make good arguments. I mean, not always, but at least she tries.
Yeah, she got a brain in her head.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
But it's just it's
This
such a
is-
cheap knockoff.
Yeah.
What it feels like.
Mom, I want Contra points. We
Yeah.
have Contra
Points
points
at
at home.
Yeah, we have.
He's like, no, Mom, I wish I had. He wished he had Contra points at home.
Oh, ooh.
Ooh.
Grr. All right. Well, yeah, this was a big nothing video.
This was just a waste of time, energy, brain cells, citations.
I'm so annoyed. I'm so annoyed because I was like that quote that he ended on. I was like, oh, finally, like there's like something to dig into here. I get to like actually use my brain stem right now and think.
Some substance.
And it's just nothing. It's like the quote is got more to it than the entirety of his video.
Super
I'm so
gobbledygook.
pissed.
Yeah. All right. Well, is it time to say goodbye, boys?
I think it is.
All
Well,
right.
thank you all for coming. Thank you to our special guests, including our surprise guest who couldn't take it anymore
Yep.
and had to jump in.
He broke
Yeah.
out the rage cage.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Well,
All right. See you around.
yeah.
It was a good episode.
See you
See
around.
you guys later.
Bye.
Goodbye, boys.
Bye.
Bye.
So I'm still imagining like the post-credit scene just being ContraPoints dialing the police.
If only.
Call the police.
Just like crying over the phone.
Oh my
Like her
god.
mascara's running. It's like, oh my god, this guy is terrible.
I need,
Oh, it's so
I
mean.
need to
Poor
know what the
ContraPoints.
process is for writing up a restraining order, please.
Yeah. I need a copyright lawyer and a restraining order right now.
Oh.
God. That was awful.